Hey, Derek, giving you a little essence of Argonaut. Had that coming through on the sounds. So this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host. A Wind is timeless. It all starts with a gentle sadness. I am holder of the continuous ball game of the Hero Twins. I am the galactic daddy-o sitting on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. So thank you one, thank you all. We're about to get it on and we're going to have a ball. And the commercial is still Wonderland. Wonderland 7.5. It's a type of hazy IPA. So pop them if you got them. Smoke them if you want them. Hope this dirty glass is not showing up. Look at that color. And we're still holding it down with Dr. Dabs Stella Vape Dynamite. Hey, Derek. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And so this is making us funky. Now, show a new product. And I'm not getting paid for this, but if it has to do with health, I like to bring this kind of stuff out. And so I talked about She Legit last night, and it came. And this is basically what it looks like. It's a resin, so it's very adrid. It is very messy, and very bitter. So you would put it in a tea or something, and it comes with a scoop, and the scoop is about 200 milligrams. And so you just fill the scoop, put it in something hot or something that's soluble, and great to take this and meditate. This appears to have some of the same components as Shungite, as far as how it will take you there. And so, surprised how fast this came. And I'm eager to start working with this, because eventually I'm also going to make a type of get it on here right for some reason. I'm going to make a type of lotion with it. I'm going to buy some CBD lotion as soon as my Shungite powder comes, and I'm going to even add this to that mix. And so that should be fun. And just a little, really the packaging is kind of cool. Comes in this. It's out of California, out of a laboratory. And it gives you just what happens that you want to. It hardens when it's cold, softens starting at 80, so you can make it softer. The cap gets stuck. Um, just put a little water on it, hot water, it appears. It becomes harder dry, make it thinner by adding water. So looks like this will have a pretty good life for you. And just a simple paper. A small measuring spoon is about 200 milligrams. That's the spoon it comes with. Mix it with hot or cold. Optionally, you can take it straight. It's some bitter shit, so you're not going to really want to take it too straight. Take it in the morning or during the day apart from food or low, so they want to take it on an empty stomach. That's why it'd be great in the morning. It is exudate that is pressed out of layers of rocks high in the Himalayas in the Siberian mountains. It originates from aged organic matter that was trapped by layers of rock and soil, remained preserved for hundreds of years, gradually transformed into a rich organic mass. Due to microbial action, pressure, and specific high altitude conditions, this humus was transformed into a dense, vicious mineral and fulvic acid rich shilajit. The oral portion of shilajit is not made of trace minerals. Humic and fulvic acid consist of beneficial plant alkaloids, amino acid, healthy fats, and resin, waxes, and other natural compounds. Average adult is about 100 milligrams once a day. If you're older than 45 or have unexpected, we recommend taking the full spoonful. If you do an active lifestyle or sport, please use it during it or after the workout. Just take the soft resin, mix it with water, tea, coffee, milk, or juice. Use it early in the morning or during the day, not with food. You may take it followed by a sip of water mixed with low-calorie meal or salad. And so, yeah. So I'll let you know. I'm going to start working with this. I'm about to order some more, too. Wow. I didn't see all the people. Hey, Edward Bailey, thank you for joining me. Hey, Overstand, thank you. Hey, James, how are you tonight? Who do you think will be the NCAA tournament? It's called She Legit. And the spelling is as followed. You can find this on eBay. And you can look it up. I know the first person I heard was Bomber and them was pushing this stuff. And so I ordered a little bit. Hey, PJ, read my soul. Thank you. Raya, what's your thoughts on the COVID? Will you be getting? No, I will not be getting it. I definitely won't be getting. I was watching Dark City. That machine is the great reset. There you go, Derek. There you go. There you go. Let me read this out. See if I can find this. Let's see. This came early this morning, so I don't know if I still have it. Let's see. It was so cool. So shout out to Shelby. Shelby gave me money to get McDonald's pancakes and hockey puck sausage. Thank you, Shelby. And matter of fact, I even splurged and got the big breakfast because the big breakfast has all the elements I like. It has pancakes, hockey puck sausage, golden biscuits, eggs taste powdered, and a hash brown. So big spender, but thank you. Thank you for thinking about me and my quest to have pancakes and hockey puck sausage. Thank you. I've been having people let me down. So thank you for that. NCAA tournament. I like Michigan. Michigan last won it in 89. Illinois, too. Illinois got their best player back. Gonzaga. I'm thinking my Final Four is going to be Michigan, Gonzaga. I still like Illinois. Now, again, I don't know all the brackets, so if those teams are going to bump in, I don't know. I can't say. But the four teams I like. And the third team, I like Baylor, too. I've been watching Baylor for the last couple of years, and they've got a good program down there. Now, I know they haven't won it or made the Final Four in a minute, but they've had some pretty strong programs down there. So once we, I think Monday, isn't this the thing tomorrow? Or I don't know. I don't know when the picks is, but that's who. Those are teams that I like. I like to see Michigan win it all. Just uh, like the young man that's coaching there now. The program is, remember they made it to 2 Final Fours in the last 10 years and lost them both. This might be their year more than Gonzaga. They might let Gonzaga. Um, um, do you think Kanye West is crazy? I really don't care. CDC's using fear tactics. Yeah, they are. I don't really care about Kanye, so ain't got nothing to say about him. Les Miles out here talking. Yeah. They're putting pressure on him, and he was a team that didn't lose. Michigan, Gonzaga, Baylor. I'll put some money down. Okay. Well, let's see if they're all, because I was watching the way everybody was set. So I think the paper's coming out Monday. So if any of those bump heads, I'll advance, because I watch a lot of college basketball. But to answer Derek's question, I mean, it's really no set time. Like sometimes when I stop here, I'll go right to meditate before I go to bed. I'll meditate right when I get out of this. So there's no set time. Sometimes I would get caught into meditating at night. So I started switching it up and still meditating at night, but I would meditate during the day too. So just to feel the sun and meditate during the day. So it's no one given time. Again, I stare at the sun, gazing. I do gazing too. So that's generally 6:30. So a lot of times I'll stay up when I'm doing this, and I'll do gazing and just stay up and then sleep after I gaze. So there's no set time. It's just whenever time you can have that's you're away from things, that you're away from things and you can have a little stillness in your mind. I think that's the best time. Just whenever you can have some stillness. So that's what I would say. Do you see Jackson State game? No, they played today. They played the Mississippi Valley. No, I didn't. I don't think we're gonna get it, because when they said they played their first game on ESPN3, they didn't show ESPN3 up here. So I didn't. What's good? Hey, Lorenzo, thank you for joining me. Philly is vaccinating 6,000 people a day, 7 days a week with the help of FEMA and the Army. Yeah. Wow. And people are complying that much? Not down here where I live. These people wouldn't put up with that shit. They would not put up with that. Wow. 6,000 people a day. Why? I think I'm asking the question everybody else asks. Why? You got something that the majority of people get it survive. So why are they in a rush to vaccinate everybody? And I put a lot of shit on Facebook about the zombies and shit, but I put that on the studies. On the studies of when the people get sick, all of them talk about their eyes, all this sinks in. All their sockets sink in like the zombies. That's what I base it on. And we know all the past stories of that's how it spread. It spread through the vaccine. So there's something they want there. Why is a vaccine for cancer? Why couldn't you rush and do a vaccine for cancer? You've been knowing about cancer over 100 years. Seemed like you would be more interested in cancer than motherfucking the flu. The cold, really a cold. So that tells you what is what. And they giving it to motherfuckers free. How is that? How can they afford to give it to people free? Now the government is giving these motherfuckers millions. Remember, all of it ain't for the vaccine. It pays motherfuckers salary, research. I don't know. Hey, Sebastian, thank you. William, thank you. Seen high school on Sports Centers. They got masks again. Yeah, I know here they do. They definitely do here. How much for AI dials? How much for AI dials? Send it past. Oh yeah, I'm getting a pimping. If they give me $1,400, I'm ordering one of them dials from Honda. I'm getting the Honda version. The Honda version is going to be called Rhonda. So I'm going to try to order 8 girls, 8 girls. And all they need is some lubrication and washing. I'll give me a power jet for that, or a power sprayer. After the person's done, I'll just power spray the robot down. Robot can't give you anything. We can put all kind of wigs. They got the faces where the faces will change. Whatever you want the face to look like, it can just change. My Honda Ronda. I'm getting the Model 800. So I'm going to be the first robot pimp. That's my goal in life now. So I want to have bordellas every neighborhood. If you live in Mississippi, you deserve your bordello. So say you got 200 people, I'm going to bring half a robot. No, I'm just joking. I'll give you a whole one. So do you understand? I am going to bring robot sex to the people because I am for the people having sex with robots. So where's it at? No, it's over here. Well, my goodness. Where did it? Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is the part of the show that I call Who Are They Fucking With in Prior Lake? And today, let me read some bullshit though. So they was doing some checks for these damn jails and shit to see if the jails is up to code. Said considerable signs of age at the jail facility. In Allegan, Michigan, they got a jail from the 1800s. It's got a jail cell like Andy Griffin, where it's just two little jail cells and shit. The inspector described the jail facility as clean and well maintained. The carpeted halls and many murals give a softer feel without diminishing security. What? Why is carpet in the jail? You know how when you see mugs in prison, they have the backgrounds and shit, like the oceans and shit. And let me tell you, one thing I never understood, and unfortunately I knew people in prison my whole life, and I knew what prison poses looked like. When I went to A&T, all the dudes from DC or from the East Coast always took prison poses. I never understood that. I'm like looking at some of my pictures from years ago, and I'm like, what is it with the DC dudes and the prison poses? But anyway. So, who are they fucking with in Prior Lake? Counterfeiting. Now it's some bullshit. An individual at Mystic Lake received 2 counterfeit bills in exchange for 100 while making change with the subject. So if a person just walks up to you and says, "Do you have change for 100?" I think you say, "Nay." Like you're in a damn casino. Why would you need change? There's change everywhere. You raise your hand, a motherfucker's walking up to you and will give you anything you want for change. So I think that was kind of stupid. So stupid. Drugs. Officers were called to the hotel for a subject refusing to leave. Now, I guess I did fail to mention that meth can make you kind of hostile and give you a feeling of grandeur and superiority. I mean, you're high on meth, so you're superior because you're so high. And so subject refused to leave. Officers arrested a 27-year-old man for 5th-degree possession of methamphetamine, trespassing, disorderly conduct, and possession of a crack or meth pipe. Guys, I'd like to see who he went there with, and that would have calmed him down. You know what would have calmed him down? All you had to do is give the guy a fudge sickle. And I mean, just go get a fudge sickle out the casino freezer, give it to the guy on meth. He would have calmed right down. They missed that opportunity. Report of a forgery in the amount of 900 big ones. That's the only part of the story. Report of a check forgery in the amount of 900 big ones. Where? We want to know details. Don't leave us hanging. Fraud. Report of theft by swindle. Caller attempted to purchase a dog through a Facebook page and sent the seller $300. The account was deleted the following day. The caller contacted a breeders association who informed them it was a familiar scam. Don't buy your dogs off Facebook, buddies. Don't. You can't trust Facebook money or whatever it is. Yeah, don't trust that. That's a little stupid. Now, come on. Okay. An officer located a stolen vehicle driving on Highway 13 and conducted a stop. 27-year-old St. Paul man was arrested for receiving stolen property and driving without a license. What? Okay. Stolen car. A reported stolen from parking lot of an apartment building was found abandoned the following day south of the city. Stolen property. They stopped a vehicle for a traffic violation. A stolen license plate was also located in the vehicle. The driver was charged with driving after revocation, failure to drive in a single lane, and receiving stolen property. What stolen property did receive? I guess they have the same story. Well, I gave dude, a dude gave me some rock, or I gave him some rock, he gave me the car. That's the only way I could say they're getting these people on stolen property. The theft of wallets from a vehicle parked on a construction site. The stolen cards were then used to purchase gift cards. The suspect was located and stopped the following days and arrested. Report of outgoing mail stolen from a mailbox. Report of theft of a catalytic converter. I think this guy got mine as well. It's like 3-4 stories of catalytic converters. A caller reported someone going through mailboxes. Officer made contact with the driver and located stolen mail in the vehicle. The driver is being charged with mail fraud. So taking mail out the box is a fraud? Didn't know that. Report of someone going through residents' vehicles. The only item reported missing from the vehicle was a fob key, valued at $250. Burglary of an Xbox from an open garage, not far from me. Reported theft of 4 catalytic converters. There's someone around here. I'm going to be watching because I'm pretty sure they got mine. A subject lost their cell phone valued at $70. Cricket phone, I'm guessing. I would have been embarrassed to tell him, well, how much was your phone worth? I'd have been like $1,000. But no, he said 70. He kept it real. Cash App was accessed through the phone, resulting in nearly $5,000 in charges. Wow. He had $5,000 on his Cash App. Wow. Officers were dispatched to the parking lot of Little Six, which is the smaller casino. A dog was left unattended in the vehicle. The 44-year-old Wisconsin woman was located and arrested for outstanding warrants. If you got warrants, why are you going to the casino? Seems like you got other problems going on in the world. And so that is who they're fucking with in Prior Lake. And I am holding a big rally out there tomorrow because I am taking a bunch of people that live near me that I know are on meth, and we're going out there and I'm going to help them protest. We want the following things, or I want the things for them. A tent to freely smoke their meth on the casino grounds. They should freely be able to. If in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, or Philadelphia, you can shoot heroin just openly and they have the narco to bring you back, I say you should be able to smoke your meth. 2, if I pay for a room, the person should be able to smoke meth in the room. 3, the longer the people gamble, the longer they can smoke meth on the property. If you gamble for 12 hours, well, damn, you should be able to smoke meth for 12 hours. Doesn't that sound like the same? Look, Mr. Blake, you have meth heads who have liquid assets, disposable income. Why are you hassling them? Let them smoke their meth and gamble. When are you going to realize your best customers are the meth people? Now they got to get these stolen cars. They got to go through all these changes when all they want to do is just come to your establishment and smoke meth and gamble all night. To me, I would encourage that. Look, Mr. Blake, hire me. I'll be the meth liaison. Now, if you want me to have a monitor and watch them in the tent and they can show me their meth, or I could even sell the meth to them. How about that? That way I can make money and I'll give you a cut. So we have the meth there for them to come. They come in, we give them the pipe, we give them the meth, they sit down, do their thing, and then they're on their way. We stamp their hand. I'll supply all the meth. Oh, 2 weeks for the checks. Yeah, they say they delivering the checks on the 19th. That's what I heard. Hey, Jeffrey. Yes, Time Lord News. Oh, yeah, it's supposed to be the 19th. It is supposed to be the 19th. They're coming out. Sebastian, what's happening, William? I think I said what's up to Lorenzo. Yes, meth rallies. Normalize says okay, but meth is big business. It is. Meth heads just want to be high and gamble. They want to be high and gamble. For some reason they like to gamble. Well, thank you, Derek. A-Win, the businessman. My AI sex robot is going to be a 1979 Ford Pinto because I like a girl with a big fat ass. This is the thing about the Honda Rondas. The thing about the Honda Rondas is you can have any kind of ass you want on it. You know, this is a digital, like an AI robot. You know, it's like a transformer kind of thing. You want a fat ass? Right there in front of your ass, it'll be fat. So, you know, it's going to be, you know, we're not paying all this money for nothing. You know, the PFD JRHK loan they gave me. Yeah, and I put right on there, I want robots from Honda Ronda, and I'm going to do the sex robots. And they gave me all the loan I need. And I'm going to spend it all on them. So I'm getting the top thing. So I'm going to be the first robot pimp in the history of the world. It's a burden. And, you know, just think if once I get these bordellos in every neighborhood, thousands eventually, they're going to give me my own factory. And I'll set up everywhere in your neighborhood. Don't worry if you live way out in the woods. You will still have access. So we will bring them. People in Alaska live way in them woods. I don't know about that. You might be out of luck in Alaska. I might hit the cities, but way out in them woods, yeah. I'm not going to leave my robot out there for 6 months and then have to come back and get 6 months later. And you'll be able to tear the robot up. So no, I'm thinking you're going to be excluded. Not very many people are going to be excluded, but Alaska, yeah, some of Alaska, you're going to be excluded. I'm not going to put it out in the woods. No. You guys going to watch the NBA All-Star game? I don't know. But it's a Honda ass. They're already gambling with their lives. Guess they said, fuck it. I might watch it. I don't know. Like, did they even have the dunk contest or any of that shit? Westworld. There you go, Jeffrey. I was trying to find meth heads so I can sell them shit when they hide. There you go. Ex Machia. Yes. On HBO Max. Okay. Yeah. I checked it out, Jeffrey. I checked it out. That's where I was talking about the Westworld. I watched the original one with Yul Brynner. I went to the movies to see that, the original one with Yul Brynner, where he trips out at the end. And he's the cowboy. So, but I watched that, and that's why I bring up all the time about Westworld was shot in 19. It's been a couple of seasons now. And I mean, it's been almost a year since the original show came on. So a lot of them masks, they was wearing masks in the backgrounds of that. So if y'all remember that. No laws, DAOs for Alaska. Yeah, Alaska is going to be only the big cities in Alaska. Small cities and people up there in the woods where you can only go drop off goods once a year. When the weather's nice, I will give you service. But when the weather's bad, you can forget it. You're not getting your Honda Ronda. So if you want to invest, you can invest in it. Surely you can invest. We take all kind of investments. If you would like to send me 40 ounces, no, I have a better idea. No, I'll hold that idea. I'm not going to share it right now. Not going to share that. Dunk contest is halftime of the All-Star game. Okay. Westworld was crazy because they were paid to rape robots. Yes, he was. He was brutalizing like he liked that one robot so much. The owner, remember, the owner would rape the same robot over and over again. Remember, he would be the bad guy and take her in the barn every time, and then she started having these memories, imprints, So, but yeah, it was like, he raped a robot and get off on it. And this is the owner of the thing. So, took quite a twist. Look at the show. Some picture. Something had on my phone, some picture I had to share. I'm having a blank. Why? Let me see. Maybe I pull it up and can see what it was. No, still drawing a blank. Something I had to share everybody. No, I guess it ain't that important. I don't remember. What the hell? Yeah, but I liked it. Yeah, I liked it. Will you be competing then? I'll be going to a string of robot whorehouses based on Fanny Ford model. Our models smell bad and don't work well, but they are assembled in America by Mexicans. No. What you're putting out there, Eugene, is no better than the blow-up dolls that we have today. No, I'm going to have the top Honda Rondas, Mark 1, 2, and 3. So it's not going to even be a competition. You bring your Fords out, and I'll bring my Honda Rondas out, not made by any American hands. The only time American hands are going to touch the Honda Rondas is when they have sex with them. That's it. So there will be no mistakes. So good luck. And maybe I'll invest in your business because, again, there's no business like whole business. The odds 2-0. The NBA commissioner doesn't look human. Yeah, he's a Jewish faith person. That's the only ones they've ever made commissioners of basketball is Jewish faith people. So, yeah, Adam Silver is a reptilian, and he might be what they call the tall white grays. He might be a tall white gray because Silver's about 6'5". He's not a little guy. But it's the same part of the same Jesuits that's always controlled basketball from the very beginning. I mean, the Jesuits put on the first teams in America, the Jewish faith people and Jesuits. You can look it up. The first, look up, what's his name that turned the Mayan basket sideways or this way. Can't think of his name. Went to Kansas from Canada, though. He was Jewish faith, I do believe. Somebody will know his name, the inventor, they say, of basketball. They went to Kansas, and Ivo was down there. It'll come to me in a second. I'm having a old man, and his ears are fucking gigantic. NBA commissioner. I mean, check his ears. You making them robots hoes sound appealing to me. That is the point. Read my soul. That is the point. Did y'all check this out? This is what I didn't understand. Reggie Miller has a new Wendy's commercial, right? He has a new Wendy's commercial, and in the Wendy's commercial, the first dude talk is this brother that looks like, I thought it was a Christmas commercial at first. Y'all didn't notice the first brother talk got the Dr. Spock ears? Watch that Wendy's commercial with Reggie Miller. They only got one version of it so far. I thought it was a Christmas commercial because the dude was obviously trying to be an elf. And I'm like, and then I saw the rest of the commercial. I'm like, what is the point of having the elf show? I'm like, I'm mixed up. I'm like, why is the brother looking like an elf? It's a breakfast commercial, which we do ignore. If you watch me, you ignore that kind of thing because there's nothing better than a commercial of McDonald's serving pancakes and hockey puck sausage. I went to McDonald's and said, that's the only kind of commercials y'all should have. And you will just be the most popular ever. Don't serve anything else. Forget the Big Mac. Matter of fact, throw out the beef and just sell sandwiches with hockey puck sausages. It's going to make you a lot more successful. But they didn't listen. His ears are so for the commissioner. Naismith. There you go, Derek. Do men really have man black do we really have men in black that work with aliens? It appears so. It appears so. But the thing about aliens that you really have to look at is people from the future would be aliens. People from the past will be aliens. So it's not necessarily people from other planets. If someone was able to step back into this dimension, they would be technically alien. So it's hard. It's not a cut and dry thing to say, what kind of aliens come back in our reality, because it's a ocean of different kind of beings that could be in that position. Now, when they show all the science fiction, there's literally a little bit of truth in it. Now, if this is a simulation, they can bring anything into this. Everything that comes in is pretty much alien or part of the simulation. So, somewhat, I'll say somewhat. Did you see the guys in Russia playing basketball merged with football? I have not. What is hockey puck sausage? We don't have them down. What, Sebastian? What do you mean you don't have them? If you have a McDonald's, you have hockey puck sausage. So I don't know what you're talking about. You're about to get me hot, Sebastian. What are you talking about? What is it? What? You've been to McDonald's before? You've got pancakes and sausage? What do you think they call it? It's hockey puck sausage. The sausage is like this big. The sausage is big as the pancake. You didn't notice that? Where else can you get hockey puck sausage? Just think about it. Now listen. Burger King doesn't have hockey puck sausage. Wendy's does not have hockey puck sausage. Only McDonald's. Don't get me hot in here, Sebastian. You got them down there. I know they're everywhere. Men in Black, Tommy Lee did say the world was flat. Good point. For all we know, we communicate with our future selves. Hey, T-Bull, thank you. Everywhere has hockey puck sausage. If you have McDonald's, you got hockey puck sausage, baby. Some of these grays are future humans coming back. They have time to make the exit, so they have to do things. Hockey puck sausage with some syrup. Oh my goodness. Hey, son, call them to see if they're still open. That just reminds me. I might have some frozen one. I keep that stuff. Oh, it sounds so good, CJ. The NBA's All-Star Game is where they use all the technology. I ordered in the AM. There you go. There you go. You are on the right path. Yes. The rules are so loose. I don't even know if they really need it. If they really need to turn on everything, because the rules are so lax. There's no really true defense. Did you see the rules have changed to like the TNT, these tournaments where they put the final score is like 80, 90 points, depending on the scoring of the game. See, that's what they want to shift the league to, is the way they play in Europe. That is what they really want to do. They want to put it in these short little tournaments, because, again, if you have short little tournaments, you're going to have different winners all the time. Like what they tried to do last year, they tried to take the teams out of the bubble, the teams that didn't make the bubble, and put them in a tournament. I don't know if any of y'all remember that. They were really considering that, setting up another bubble and having a tournament for the teams that didn't make it. And for some reason that didn't go, but that is their goal. And so, I mean, again, the way they're doing it is a copy from the TNT. It's some of the other tournaments around the world. It's saying, a set amount of points. So I don't know. Hey, Unique, I don't know if we're going to see a lot of basket manipulation. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be, if that's going to be, hey, Unique Breed. I don't know if that's they're going to need it as much. I mean, again, a lot of times they want certain people to be the MVPs. And so we know the only way Curry or Dame can be MVPs is with the shooting. So it might be on them. Oh, did y'all see Donovan Mitchell? They hit him with 20 grand. They hit the big Frenchman with they hit Donovan Mitchell with 25 grand. And they hit the big French dude, Jabir, or whatever his name is. They hit him with 20 grand for complaining about the officials. And all that's tax deductible, because Charles Barkley was the first to do that. He got fined, and he got fined. Wherever he got fined for, he was able to tax deductible. So it doesn't hurt these players. I mean, think about it. You get paid every week, and you getting $700,000-800,000 a week. You care about 25 grand. I mean, down the road you miss it, but yeah,
It's a laugh. It's a laugh. Mapuka, Russia, basketball, football. I don't know what's the fuck is seriously. It's football and basketball with wrestling. Oh, okay. I like Spike Ball. They've been showing the reruns of the Spike Ball, and I was showing it to my daughter, and she's like, you can buy that. I've never seen Spike Ball in the store. I guess if I want my Spike Ball, I'm going to have to order it off eBay. But I'll tell you something that's big down here is pickleball. And if you guys haven't heard of pickleball is kind of like ping pong on a tennis court. So you don't use this big tennis court, and you have a lowered net, and you have these paddles, like they're small tennis rackets, almost paddle ball, and you play outdoors. You can play indoors, but it's really a fun sport. You can play it 1-on-1, or you can play it 2-on-2, and it's like tennis, really a lot like tennis. A lot of the tennis rules: get it in the box and serve it back. But it's big down here. They already have 4 courts, and they're expanding these 4 courts. So I told my daughter we're gonna work out a lot playing pickleball. So I don't know if you guys are hip to that, but as the weather changes, we are definitely going to be doing it. The 3-pointer competition is the main one with the use of magnetic balls. Agreed. It always has been. Agreed. It always. But you know what? They also show people that can't shoot. That's one thing I've always liked. I've always liked about the All-Star game, the 3-point shooting contest. When they don't turn the baskets on for people, it shows people can't shoot. It shows that people really can't shoot. So notice that. If a dude miss all 7-8 shots, don't be surprised. And don't be surprised you see some shots they miss, make them miss. So maybe I'll do some commentary. But I agree, T-Bull, definitely. They slammed the Jazz player by picking them last in the All-Star draft, then fined them. Yes, they did. They shamed them. It was a shaming. I agree. Pickleball is the fastest growing sport right now. Yeah, Rima. So it's fun. It's fun. We played last year. Because you could rent the equipment last year. I am the world champion pickleball player. I hold the golden pickle. There he goes, Eugene. Well, we'll have to see, because after a summer of me playing this and dominating my son, dominating my daughter, then we'll see, because I'm going to do some lives showing you my dominance of pickleball. I didn't tell you guys this the other day. I'm a nice guy. I help people out. So my daughter, we had to go to her house for some reason at night. No, she's not. No, I don't like Dre. So don't bring Dre. Dre doesn't have McDonald's, pancakes, and hockey puck sausage. Tell him right now, don't come over here. Don't make me beat Dre up. What are you talking about? So you call him and tell him if he don't bring pancakes and hockey puck sausage, he can't come here. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. You stealing a car is bad camera regardless. I think stealing a car is bad car regardless how you do it. I agree, normalize. It is. World Pickleball Tournament. I never knew that even existed. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they have a big tournament. It's a big thing around here. When I'm telling you, they're spending hundreds of thousands to build more courts here. I'm not exaggerating. They have 4 tennis courts that's used. Huh? What?
Let me have that. Let me have this.
What is it?
It's a Milky Way.
No, you can't have it's a caramel Milky Way, so get your.
All Milky Way are caramel.
No, that one doesn't have nuggets.
None of them have nuggets. What's a nugget?
It's fake shake. It's shake flavored candy. That's what nougat is.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, shake flavored candy. So get out of here. Let Dre come in here empty handed, see what happened to Dre. So you better call him. Your pickleball is no match for mine. You're funny. I think what you're saying about basketball is even in 2OK video game. It's harder to shoot threes in the 3-point contest on the game. Sometimes I kind of think it's something in the shoes to make them jump higher. Well, yeah, you can definitely get that. You can order like the Weasel Tester. He shows the shoes. He's a dude who shows and highlights shoes that really love shoes and has a very big channel, but it's Wear Testers, I think he's called. And he shows you the shoes that will give you one inch. They're banned from the NBA. I don't think they're banned for football, but they're banned in the NBA. And because they will give you an advantage. They'll give you almost a half inch, some people an inch. So again, jumping is hip flexors. The people that can dunk, even short people, if you have strong hip flexors, you can get the lift to dunk. That's all. It's all in the hips. Dunking is in the hips. And so if you can get a shoe that's going to give you an inch when, most of the force is coming through your hip flexors, That's an advantage. That's an advantage. Denny's got better. Do you guys see that? Ryan, that will get you blocked. They do not have hockey puck sausage at Denny's. So what are you talking about? It is not a combination unless you get both. And to me, McDonald's is the only one that serves hot, delicious pancakes and hockey puck bacon or hockey puck sausage. Excuse me. I got bacon on my mind now. You're mixing me so much, Ryan. There's no way. That is almost blasphemous. No one else serves hockey puck sausage but McDonald's. Let's get that right. You can get a hockey puck biscuit, hockey puck sausage biscuit. Who else gives you that? Who else? You pull in and say, I want a hockey puck sausage biscuit. McDonald's has you covered. No one else does that or offers that. So get out of here with that, Ryan. Get out of here with that. Matter of fact, you need to go to McDonald's in the morning and get you a delicious hockey puck biscuit, hockey puck sausage biscuit tomorrow. And I want you to share a picture and everything. So, yeah, you'll get bounced out for talking that stuff. Man, get me hot up in here. Man, what are you talking about? All they got is slams. I don't want to be slammed. I don't want to go somewhere and they ask me, do I want to be slammed? I'm like, I do the slamming. I do not want to be slammed. So that just tells you. See, McDonald's is more friendly. They're like, Mr. Macon, we know it's you and we know exactly what you need. Do you want a hockey puck sausage biscuit today? And I'm like, yes, I do. But give me hockey puck sausage with my pancakes. And so I'll even take the biscuit bread and put it on top. So 2 hockey puck sausage, put them in the middle of pancakes, put the biscuits on top of the pancakes and eat it like that. Where else can you get that? Nowhere else. So I never ate turkey, ham, egg, steak, or fish. Okay. Delicious caramel pancakes. Okay. Does McDonald's make caramel pancakes? No, they don't. McDonald's doesn't even make chocolate chip pancakes. So you know what that tells you? You're foul if you eat anything but delicious McDonald's pancakes and hockey puck sausage. So I don't know what you're talking about. I do not know what you're talking about. Waffle House. You really didn't say Waffle House, did you? Waffle House doesn't make pancakes, as far as I know. Waffle House gives you bull sausage, or no, bull steak. Steak, most meat comes from female cows, but they give you a big bull, bull steak. Ryan, I live in Minnesota. We don't allow those up here. We do not allow Waffle House up here. We got too many McDonald's. McDonald's got caramel pancakes. Well, yeah, they might, but they're not McDonald's. So there. Did you watch the UFC? Oh, I forgot about it. And I was sitting here watching something else and I did forget about it. I imagine I could have got it free. I got the app. So I didn't watch any of the wrestling. I kind of forgot it. I kind of forgot about the UFC. Let us know what happened tonight, James. What's happening? Who won tonight? Because I didn't see any of it. I was watching Attack of the Titans before I was sitting here I taped it, but I was still trying to watch it. So no, let us know who won tonight because I didn't see any of it. Yeah, I finished Coming to America too. Yeah. Yeah. You know what surprised me about Coming to America too? I thought at the end they was going to do a DNA test and find out he wasn't his son and they was going to like him and still let him be royal. That's really what it appeared like to me. I'm like, that's got to come up. Somebody's got to say, let's take DNA. Did you notice they never brought DNA up? Who is going to not do DNA? So
But did you notice it was just a mix up of everything? They showed more servants. Did y'all notice that? They showed the Moors with the Fez servants. They had the Moors as servants. Did y'all check that out? When going into the final scene, there's some Moors that have maybe red tops, white sleeves, and they all wearing Fez. They're like standing against the wall. They do something, but it was interesting that they showed them like that. I was like, wow, that's kind of some disrespect, but that's how they did it. But it's all that going back to Africa shit. Oh, he lost. Oh, wow. What was the money on him tonight? Ooh, he lost because I didn't bet tonight. Noons won, the brother lost. Okay, Noons won, the brother lost. Okay. They had the African versus Black American argument in the movie. Yes, they did. Same thing as Panther. Peter Yan got disqualified. Wow. The American child was labeled as the bastard child. They emphasized that, which I found that interesting. They emphasized that's not a common word. You see this shit jump? Bastard is not a common word anymore. Like, I don't look at my daughter, my oldest daughter that's 30, and because I was just messing with her mother, and her mother was living with another man. I didn't look at that as, his bastard or my bastard. It wasn't looked at as that, So it's funny that in this day and age, it was even necessary to use that. Why was it necessary to use that? I didn't get that part either. It's like, this is a word from freaking Oliver Twist, in the 1960s shit. But who uses that in 1980 or not in 2021? Excuse me, I had a brain old man minute. But that made no sense to me. That made no sense to put that in there. But again, it was hard to watch, very hard to watch. Like the oldest daughter and the son, it was almost at one point I was like, are they going to bring them together like they did the cousins in Godfather 3? Because that's the first. But I peeped out in the commercials. I saw that wasn't going to happen. But I was like, this is kind of odd. Because that's kind of what they were doing with the relationship. And I'm like, okay. But then he picked the girl that was grooming his hair. They shamed the fuck out of their Americans. Yeah, they made they made the Africans look as astute, intelligent, class, and they showed niggas. Did y'all notice that? They showed niggas compared to Boule. That's what you was looking at. You was looking at the king and all them as Boule, and you was looking at everybody else as niggas. That's what Eddie Murphy did to his people. And remember, the Boule was the Africans. He made fun of his own people to push the narrative. And remember, he freaking held the diamond up the whole show. He's doing this the whole show, or he's doing that. But he did this the whole fucking show. So wasn't very good. Slow. It's like, okay, if you're gonna be entertaining and write jokes and shit. Jokes will take the place of slow. If you got slow moments, have jokes. They ain't even do that. You gave us a few minutes of some decent music, decent dancing, but yeah, wasn't very good. Took me 2 days to watch that shit. Like, I was cooking because I made a steak and I made some fresh snap beans and some garlic bread. And so I was watching it in here, listening to it, and I had my phone over the stove watching the shit. I mean, I'm cooking and cutting and all that shit. I felt like it's about the siblings, kind of awkward. Yeah, you checked that too. Yeah, I was like, where are they going with this? Because you know how they do, the people that hate each other the most be the ones that get together in the end. And I'm like, this is kind of weird. The movie made it seem like there were no such thing as wealthy or middle class. Exactly. Okay, this is another part is Queens apparently had done better. Remember, Queens was, gentrification. So where was all the upward mobility? American Indian, black folks, whatever you want to call it. Where was they? If Queens is doing better, where's the people? There's our people of the people because we love the people. Where was they doing better? Yeah, they showed niggas.
They showed niggas. And Tracy Morgan, the young boy, Leslie Jones, all them agreed to play niggas. Eddie wrote them scripts to be niggas. And then, you know, thinking about it now, it makes me mad. I guess I didn't even figure that all out until I'm talking now. But it's like, that's what he did. That's what he did. He made people play niggas. So little discouraging there. They shamed Tracy Morgan. It wasn't good. Exactly, Read My Soul. Yes, it was. I agree, Read My Soul. They shamed Leslie Jones too, though. Hypersexed. Remember the thing is, she was like, well, you know, I was a hoe. Remember that? That was one of her first lines. You know, I used to be a hoe. And remember all the people in her family. This is her family. All I'm saying, yeah, you used to be a hoe. So, yeah, he wrote roles for niggas. It was a tough watch on several levels. Outstanding. I agree. Outstanding Mocha. I agree. The first movie, he fucked with the rich girl, but slept with the broken girl and had a baby. He did us dirty. He really did. He really did. And remember, he didn't even, at first, when he was describing the situation, he said he had smoked some weed and a wild boar came in. He even dehumanized her. Like he was having sex with an animal. Remember? That's what if you listen to his story, he said, that's right. You know, I smoked her herbs and all of a sudden a wild boar jumped in and mounted me. So he wasn't even saying she was a human, but over-sexualizing, you know, all the stereotypes. And this was done by him. And he had all the people backing him up. So it wasn't worth it. It wasn't no L. It wasn't a victory for us. It was actually the same old shit you could have watched in the 60s. You could have put that movie in the 60s and it would have just been right in line. Who did he uplift in that movie? And then people might say, well, you know, it's just comedy. Yeah, okay. The same kind of comedy that we've been seeing ever since it's been movies. Here's a man with all the power, and yet we get the same treatment. The same treatment over and over and over and over and over again. And I think people had hopes too. I think people had hopes for it too. I think people really did, like, you know, had hopes for it. You talking about Coming to America? Yeah, Lorenzo, we talking about Coming to America too. I finished it today. I started watching it last night, and I was like, yeah, this shit, I'm not gonna watch this shit. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. So I finished today. I end up finishing. I missed Snowpiercer last week. I thought that was more exciting than that shit. I'm like Sly, the movie 25 years too late. He just did Dolomite. Well, that's why he got it. Dolomite gave him that. And that's what he did. Yep. Yeah, Sly's right. They was too late with it. They should have struck when the irons was hot instead of putting down his people again. That's what Eddie been about. You know, that's what Eddie been about. He's been about that, you know. He's been about that. I mean, we just saw Eddie Murphy last year doing all them old shit that was offensive then. And he did all that shit. Buckwheat, Otay. So, I mean, he had some funny moments. I'm going to get in the hot tub. Right now, I'm going to stick my foot in the hot tub. That shit was kind of funny. But I don't know. Every movie is better than weed. Every movie is better with weed. That movie wasn't good with weed. Ethan, that movie was not good with weed. James, the movie looked trash. Didn't have no interest in watching. You didn't miss shit. Wesley Snipes wearing a skirt. I look at Michael Jackson, Remember Times videos, Come to America too. Wesley Snipes wearing a skirt. Remember, I said this yesterday. When the young boy meets Wesley Snipes' daughter, he is wearing a dress too. He's wearing a long shirt, and right when he's about to meet her, he's walking up, he pulls like to go in his pocket, and it shows the dress. He's wearing a dress. So I'm read that. Him and Tracy Morgan are walking up, and he's wearing a dress. So, hey, give me one of them yogurt things. Look in the door. Yeah. But yeah, Wesley Snipes would say, you never know what is hidden in movies. For instance, the movie Forrest Gump is actually foretelling of Nimrod's coming out in our time. It's all in plain sight. And the other, where's my black scissors? Did you got
I
them in your
don't
room?
know. I literally just looked for those.
You know, I can't find them.
I don't see them.
But what was the question? Oh, Forrest Gump also shows, in Vietnam, what they did is they would cause, because they've been able to manipulate the weather since '58. So Vietnam, they made it rain harder on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and Forrest Gump talks about that sideways rain, angled rain. Looked like rain was coming from the earth and going up, but he's telling you about weather warfare. So good call. It is in plain sight. Rocky said he knew it would suck. It did suck, Rocky. I'm not gonna lie. Feminist agenda, peep the hand gestures in the movie too. That's what I was saying. It's Eddie Murphy the whole movie. The whole movie, he couldn't wait to do it. And I pointed that out on my last channel last year when he was doing his Saturday Night Live. He's the longer you keep that open, the longer it's gonna make all noise. So my microphone does pick that up, buddy.
No, it doesn't. That's what the fuzzy thing's for.
No, it don't. It still picks that up. Zach sent me a comment saying, where does he ever say it's the name of the group? He says, you know what I mean? People are crazy for damn well it's not just them. Zach, what? They put Gump in all the pivotal moments in the last half of the 20th century. Absolutely did. Zach's in the comments saying, where does he ever say it's the name of the group? I'm missing the context. It's a lot of ugly. You got a big face, son.
You got a big ass head. You don't got any hair follicles.
Well, right. He was with Elvis. He was investing in Apple Computer. He met Kennedy because he was All-American. Remember that? Bear Bryant. He met Bear Bryant. Remember, he broke into the Black Panthers headquarters. He meets Abby Hoffman. Remember, that's Abby Hoffman talking to him before he goes on stage. And remember, no one could hear the mic goes out or something. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, and then remember, his woman has AIDS. His woman comes back and she has HIV and AIDS and she dies. Like, wasn't he rich when she came back? So they couldn't have got the medicine that Magic Johnson's taking that I just saw a commercial a few minutes ago. You know that shit now, the cocktail that Magic takes, they tell you, they say, you take this shit, they can't detect HIV in your blood. Because they can't detect it, does that mean it goes away? Oh, and it even said you can't even pass HIV. You take that drug that apparently Magic was taking before he announced he had it, because he didn't give it to his wife, and his wife ended up being pregnant not shortly after. She didn't have it. So you got a big face, son. See, that's what I tell him every day. He thinks he could wear a hat like this. He never could. He would need about 6 hats like this to fit his head. Zach from Geometry Effects sent me a comment saying, when does he ever say it's the Jesuits? And I said, like almost every episode. It's yes. He won't say the Jewish faith people at all. He always says everything is the Jesuits. He always says it. He says it's 2 groups. He says now he doesn't blame the Jewish faith people for anything. He only blames the Jesuits. So I'll call on Wednesday and say that shit to him. I mean, I ain't hating on him, but yeah, he always says mostly everything is now the Jesuits. That's what he blames. So it's not hating on him. It's just that's what the motherfucker said. I don't know how he gonna say he didn't say that shit. He says that shit all the time. I haven't seen the movie yet, but when I saw the trailer and I said that Akeem had a son, my internet left out the window. Interest left out the window. That's funny. That is funny. That is funny.
Oh, well, now I'm taking a break. I might as well give my divination since. Oh, let me tell you, Awakened One called me this morning. I had to yell at her a little bit because I told her, don't call me before noon. As soon as she called me, I answered, you're breaking the rules. What is the rules with dealing with me? Don't call you before noon. What time is it? Well, she said, it's not noon. In my time, it's going on 10 to 1. She kind of had me there. But the rules is Minnesota time. But no, she had a ball with everybody. She wanted me to tell everybody that she appreciated the interest and the questions. And so she just wanted me to tell everybody, thank you. I did tell her that her readings belittle my daily reading, but she said carry on anyway. But she wanted to thank everybody. And I thank you too for the interest. And so we have, I believe, day 18. So day 18 will be the energy is from the north. And this is Astabaz. That's really what my real name would be in Mayan, would be 13 Astabaz. That would be my name. That is the year I was born. And generally, that's how the Mayans and the Toltecs name yourself, is the month and the symbol where you're born under. This is like the year you're born under. And 13 Astabaz, again, it's from the north. And 18. Hall of Mirrors, ritual pattern of no time, ritual stroke, ritual knife, sword of wisdom, and purification energy coming out of the north. In this card, we see the image. In this card, we see the image of a Yanni with the symbols of self-sacrifice in his left hand and the symbol of the Quado and the big pendant on his chest. On top, we see a sky full of carved flint, signifying how everything concerning the individual is connected with the higher realms of the cosmos. From these higher realms, a protective hand descends. This means that the Yanni is protected because of the development of his higher awareness. And the meaning, Chupacabra represents the enhanced awareness that, like a mirror, reflects the harmonious existence of the cosmic totality. It represents the power and wellness that arise from living in a harmonious connection with what is higher, both in its physical manifestation as the universe and its spiritual dimensions as a unifying substantial force in the universe. The forces are known among the Toltecs as Sinotol, the sacred unity. Tupaco also implies the tension or effort it takes for carved flint or knife to cut open its way and achieve fulfillment, its given task. In the spiritual sense, the Kato represents not over high in awareness, but specifically the efforts you have to make in achievements such as high awareness. It also represents the effort to live a purposeful life, which in turn promotes the achievement of higher awareness. These two reciprocal efforts sustain each other in what we call a sacred sustaining system. But for the efforts of the knife to succeed in opening its way, the flint first needs to be carved and polished. For you, this means to achieve your full strength, you have to carve and polish yourself. This is consistent with the Toltec concept of human development, which is expressed in the old advice of the elders. Sculpt for yourself a real face and develop your soul so that you can see others and can be seen by them. For your higher goal to be achieved, first you should develop yourself to have a real face. Then you must be persistent and sustain your effort in the right direction so that you can open your way to achieve your highest dreams. In other words, direct your efforts both to the inner work and also to the external world. Trying to achieve something really valuable only by focusing outside yourself would be senseless, because the way you experience life is a result of dynamic and hopefully harmonious interaction between the two realms of your existence. Therefore, you have to carve and polish the flint first and learn to direct your higher goal with sustained intent of your actions in this world. And I didn't mention this yesterday, but a lot of some of the things that Awakened when it said, a lot of this on the day I read yesterday, some of that stuff came into play. And she was right about somebody being pregnant. She was right. It's somebody that I know watches every now and then, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have a baby. So
she asked me. I said, yeah, I know who it is. So there's somebody out there that is going to have a baby. I'm not going to say their name, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have a baby because the woman was on Facebook and she's pregnant. So, and I know about a year ago who she was kicking it with, because she ain't little pregnant, she's big pregnant. But I guess that's none of my business, is it? But she was right. When I told her today who it was, she's like, really? I'm like, yeah. I'm pretty sure those two have, so we'll see. We'll see. Not going to say who, though. I just got my comment deleted for something. Oh, you got what comment? They deleted one of your comments? Damn. Hey, Crazy Cyrus, thank you for joining me. I peeped that too. He does blame the Jesuits a lot instead of the Jewish faith people. I agree. Draco Reptilian hybrids. Lorenzo, like every episode is way more than just them. Do you watch the UFC fights? Yeah, Jonan. Someone just asked that and told us who won. No, I didn't watch them. I forgot about them. I was watching who was I watching? St. Mary's and all. What was it? The Broncos. Some of the Big Sky. I think it was the Big Sky. One of the West teams. I was watching one of that game before I turned on. Then I started watching Attack of the Titans. So no, I didn't. I missed it. I missed the fights tonight. I missed the fights. So I didn't. And so there are people that they want to come on, put some stuff together, shoot me email. I've had others on. I don't kind of just want to see what you want to bring. And then, if it goes, then you can come on. It's no problem. I'm going to try to have maybe James on tomorrow. I got to get James early because he can't hang this late. PNF, everybody is down in Atlanta. Everybody is down in Atlanta. PNF was on, and I was like, well, you got to come on my show. He said, like, well, I want to interview you anyway, but you be on like 2 or 3 in the goddamn morning. I'm like, I do, but that's my man. So he's down there in Atlanta. Somebody supposedly said they was going to slap him, and he was waiting down there to see if they was going to show up to do it. So that kind of thing. If someone said that, I would definitely go find them instead of waiting. I would go find them and then see if they were going to do it or not. But we all have our own way of doing things. I wouldn't be standing waiting. I would be searching and hunting. So you just watch tape to catch early rigged and tampered evidence, right? No, I watch a lot of the games. Far as I'm not really a big UFC person. Honestly, I watched Ali Frazier 1. I watched Ali Frazier 1, and every time I watch it, I catch something. Archie Moore says something very interesting. He said Ali wasn't in, how did he put it? I want to get this right. Did I put it over here? Damn, I didn't put it in the right spot. But he was basically saying Ali wasn't in fighting shape. And, Ali, where did I put it? Ali had only fought 3 fights in 4 years, but he was just saying that he wasn't in fighting shape, and he really wasn't, and that made a lot of the difference. But something I had never caught before, in the 10th or 11th round, the referee, now Joe Frazier was blind out of his left eye since, Joe Frazier won the 64 Olympic gold medal. Ali won in 60, Joe Frazier won in 64. Joe Frazier had a detached retina and was blind in one eye since the 60s. So in the 9th or 10th round, the referee goes to break him up, and he sticks his thumb in Joe Frazier's eye, and Joe almost quit. Because Ali stands there too. Ali doesn't attack him. Joe, you can see because Joe pulls his head back, because I was like, what just happened? And the ref put his hand in there and caught him in the eye, and Joe almost quit. Because again, this was Joe's bad eye, and then the ref, and Ali didn't attack him. Ali must have saw it too, because Ali did not attack him. So I found that interesting. But if all the times in history I could go back, I would really like to go see that fight live. I mean, Joe Frazier almost died that night. I mean, if you can catch the interview pictures, which they're very few anymore, but I mean, he just took such a beating, but he was willing to die to win. He was willing to die to win. And he almost did. He really almost did. I mean, his face was just, yeah, he almost died that night, though. He was in the hospital for almost 6 weeks after the fight. I saw Tasha post on Facebook. She said 10 minutes into coming to America, she saw a bunch of indigenous Americans, more symbolism. She might do a breakdown. Yeah, I saw that too. Why did they stop 15-round fights? It was too much. I mean, you know how long of the fights was with Jack Johnson? Jack Johnson fought some 60 and 80-round fights. When you get into Jim Jeffries and them fights was like 70, 80 rounds. Jack Johnson fought a lot of fights with that many rounds. So it used to be they fought until they knocked another mug out. So it didn't matter how many rounds. If you look at all the beating that Ali took, and again, I mentioned Joe Frazier too, all three of their fights were 15-round fights. The first time when you switch to 12-round fights, you see it in Sugar Ray and Hagler. You know, Sugar Ray got the bigger ring and the new rule of 12-round fights. And it's just the beating, you know, again, these dudes is exhausted. But I go back to Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson fought 70, 80-round fights like it wasn't shit. And that was kind of the norm. Like when he beats the Great White Hope, I think he beats him in like the 30th round or some shit like that. It maybe is less, but I mean, these dudes would just fight all night. I mean, look up old boxing. These dudes fought 70, 80 rounds. You know how long that takes? And Jack Johnson was so good that he could carry a dude. If a dude wasn't hitting him, Jack could like really, he was such a great defensive fighter where he could just do the blocks and stuff and carry a dude, make the fight interesting. So that's the beating that these dudes took. I mean, that fight, they showed it earlier. It was the 8th will be tomorrow, or Monday will be the 50th year of that fight. That fight was when I was in 4th grade. Ali said if he lost to Frazier, he'd crawl across the ring and tell him, "You the greatest." And at the end of the fight, Joe hits him and says, "Won't be no crawl," and this was a great fight. That's what Joe hits him. But the one beautiful thing about that fight is Joe's walking out and Joe's like, "Yeah, I did it." And then the knockdown punch, which I think could have been fixed very well, but it's a double hook. He was going to hook to the body and then he hooked right to the face. So that is, you know, we don't get warriors anymore. And that is one instance where you see a motherfucker willing to die for victory. And damn near did. Damn near did. And then Joe was shamed. Joe was the one hitting meat in the slaughterhouse, running up and down the Spectrum steps. And I said this a night or two ago. They give fucking a fictitious movie character a statue before they give Joe Frazier, who was the heavyweight champion, at 5'9", 5'10", if that. So you tell me how much they hate our people. That a movie character gets a statue before the real heavyweight champion. I mean, look at Sonny Liston. Sonny Liston becomes champion when he saw people like, watch The Great White Hope, the movie with James Earl Jones in it. When he goes back to Chicago, it's just a bomb party when he wins the title. Sonny Liston beats Floyd Patterson, and I think he was living in Denver. Wherever he lived, he just knows there's going to be a parade and everything. Yeah. I don't know if he was living in Denver or St. Louis. I don't remember. But when he pulls in, a couple reporters, no band, nobody to give him the key to the city. It was like this man has just achieved the greatest masculine thing that was going in 1960. Everyone in the world knew the heavyweight champion. It was a time where the heavyweight champion was truly looked as the baddest motherfucker in the world. This man had achieved it, who had been in prison not long before, years before, had been in prison, learned to box in prison. and he lands, and there's nobody to greet him, nobody happy there. That's how they treat us.
I saw Ray Mancini killed, the Korean. They stopped 15 rounds. Well, my cousin Sean got killed on ABC TV. And I think the fight went to full before they didn't stop it. Yeah. Jonan. I watch the games more to me. The icons, all the Dominic shit more. Yeah, I watched that 70 rounds. You cap it. No, Derek, look it up. Look it up. Get Jack Johnson's autobiography, and they'll tell you. Look it up. Look up James L. Sullivan. Look at Jim Jeffries and James L. Sullivan fights. Them dudes was fighting 80-some rounds. Look it up. Sugar Ray. I mean, that's the difference. Like Sugar Ray fought 100-some fights. Archie Moore fought damn near 200 fights. Look up Archie Moore. Archie Moore fought. I mean, these dudes. I mean, it's amazing how many fights they fought compared to the people today. Compared to the people today, these guys was fighting all the time. I'm gonna check 70 rounds. Yeah, look it up. Look up Jack Johnson, and you'll see some of them fights. But look up Colbert, James Colbert, and James Jeffries. That was the Great White Hope. Look up them fights. You'll see them. What was my cousin's name? His name was Sean Thomas. Sean was fighting for what's above featherweight. Sean was probably 225. Because Sean was only about 5'6", 5'7". He might have been fighting featherweight. What was featherweight? 117. So Sean was probably super featherweight if that was a thing. But yeah, it was 80. I want to say the fall of 85. He fought on ABC. And they didn't stop the fight. And Sean died that night in 1985, I'm pretty sure. That's why I was watching. I was like, my cousin Sean on. I talked about his brother, K-Dog. K-Dog in the AAUs, K-Dog knocked out Mayweather. He knocked out, what's the uncle's name? He knocked the uncle out. My cousin K-Dog knocked, what was Mayweather's? Roger, right? Roger. K-Dog knocked out Roger for the middleweight championship. Or they were probably lightweights. Knocked out Roger in the lightweight. I won't say AAU, or it might have been one of the fights. I forget. Or they might have been pro then, but I think it was AAU. But his brother Sean got killed. But yeah, Sean Thomas. You might have to look up the Kalamazoo Gazette to find it, but it was on ABC back in 80. It could have been the summer of 86, maybe, but I want to say it was the fall of 85. But yeah, on Wide World of Sports. Very sad. I guess I just had some of the funnest times with Sean. Remember going to a drive-in with him, and one of the dudes in the back seat, he had about $30 worth of quarters, and he got sloppy drunk. So we're going to see Blazing Saddles. It's a drive-in theater. There was a time where you could get, I'm thinking this bottle was 4 or 5 gallons of Mad Dog. I mean, the bottle stood like this high. The bottle was damn near 3 feet big. It was this wide, this wide, this in the back. So this is just a giant ass bottle, like big as a guitar, but nothing but Mad Dog. And they kept them in the freezers. I mean, you walking out with this this is a huge damn bottle. I kid you not. This is a huge bottle. And the bottle with 3 gallons of cheap wine was probably $5. Wasn't that expensive. I bring that up because we had taken it in, went to the drive-in. I remember we was all drinking all night. We were just sitting there. And I remember we were all kind of sitting around. We're at the drive-in, but we all got little logs we're sitting around. And I remember this dude was drinking out of it because it got to a point we had drank most of it. So dude was holding it up like this. This fucker threw up in our bottle. And me and Sean just beat him down. We robbed him. Beat him up for throwing up in the bottle. But Sean was my man. I had fun with Sean that night. But yeah, look up Sean Thomas. But my comment got deleted by Google moderating team. Wow. Damn. I know they've been doing that. It's like they're looking at everything. Let me see. Let me bring it back up.
so I won't get no echo. Not catching it here. Unless you guys can see it. Can you see it? Well, thank you, Lorenzo. Oh yeah, but it was fun. That was one that I'll never forget about Sean. I had fun with it. He was like, "Take his change, take," because Mike was with us. Mike had about $30 worth of change. I forget what he did, how he got it all, but Mike passed out. It was kind of deal where when we got out the car, Sean had to help me, and Mike was just passed out. So I took all his quarters, and we walked Mike to the door. And it was really the kind of deal where we ring on the doorbell. Like it was either leave him on the ground or ring on the doorbell and run, because my bike was like on the side of the house. So I was like, I got to go get my bike. So Sean's like, so we got into the door, and I'm like, you got to ring on the doorbell. Sean and whoever drove, I think Bernard drove. And so Sean hit the doorbell. I got on my bike and just took off. And Sean said he just let him crumble. And I looked back and I saw the light, the door open. But yeah, we had got Mike that night.
Google watching the channel hard. Who is I? When you say I, who are you referring to? Who is I? You got to give me some context. I was talking about my cousin Sean and I. But what do you think they release? When do you think they will release self-driving cars? They already got them, Derek. They already got them. Back in '98, they put 200 miles outside of San Diego, and that was what kind of cars? What was those cars called? The Ultras. Remember the Buick Ultras? Remember, you could get the cheaper body style, so it wasn't the Ultra model, it was the lower model. So was that a 98 or 88? Yeah, the old Oldsmobile 88s. And so they had made some Oldsmobile 88s in 98, and they could drive by themselves. As long as they got the they got to have the meters every so often, meters. So they've had that technology since 98. I know Whitmer is trying to do from Lansing or Ann Arbor to Detroit, something like that, where it's just only those kind of cars. Because that's the problem, is you're going to still be dealing with people driving compared to people on the computer. So you got to give me context on the I, whoever asked that question. Sorry. Well, thank you, Lorenzo. When you say I'm not, you got to give me context, Smoke. Giving Google watching the channel. Yeah, I mean, that's all right with them. It's what am I seeing? Oh, that's how it is. I mean, now that we have the socialists in charge, the inquisitors, the real inquisitor team in charge, that's to be expected. I mean, again, my channel was up through Obama. My channel was up through Uncle Imbecile. 3 days in, you don't think the Democrats being in had something with my channel being taken off? Uncle Imbecile wins. I mean, they hate hearing that COVID helped Biden. If Biden didn't win South Carolina, he was done. You know how much cheating they had to do for Biden to win South Carolina? Now they hide this dude. You got Sister Girl meeting with world leaders. They already tried to pass the law that said others other than the president can use the nuclear football. Why do you think they're doing that? Why ain't this man giving weekly interviews? You know why? Because he's Slow Joe. He can't even read off the teleprompters. You got to be some kind of stupid to not read off teleprompters. But again, he's an old cat, been slow like that. And, a lot of people believed it. Their media hatred of Trump. The media was the hatred of Trump. Like my mother said, my mother was like, I'm just tired of seeing him. What's that got to do with politics? Gas was $2. Now gas is creeping at $60 some a barrel. With the layer of atmospheric pressure NCAA can't travel through. There you go, Derek. I'm watching The Replacements right now. Wasn't that movie like the story of 82 Redskins or 87? Yeah, it really was. Again, I got invited to come up there. Tony Robinson, the Tennessee quarterback, they actually, because remember, the Washington, D.C. team went undefeated. They went 5-0 during the replacement games. And later, they gave them dudes all Super Bowl rings because Redskins came back and won it. And I got invited to go to that camp. But again,
to do the tryouts. You had to pay your own money. They would give you, they would, I don't even know if they was feeding you at first during the tryouts. So it just, I had a job. I had my job for a couple of years by then, and it was like, do I throw my job away to try to go up there? And I had been out. I was only looking at maybe playing tight end at the most. I wasn't a receiver anymore. When you look in the mirror, who are you looking at? Oh, that's okay. I get that. It just depends. It just depends. I wish I'd have brought my other mirror here to kind of give you an example, but I think a piece is right here. All right. So like when you take something like this is spectral hematite. And what they do with this spectral hematite is they put a lacquer coat on it. I don't know if it'll catch any of the light. But you can make a mirror out of this stuff too. Again, this is not a polished piece. But when you look into the mirror, like I have a whipped ceiling, or they call them whipped or popcorn ceilings. Sometimes you can concentrate on that and it's really receptive. And if you concentrate on so long, it starts to change. It really starts to change. When I look at myself, what I normally look at is one thing the mirror really shows, really, if you really want to see if there's energy coming off you, a mirror, a black mirror, you can even use this. You can even use this. But a black mirror really will show your energy field. It's like if you take the mirror and you look above your head, you can see your energy field. So a lot of times, if I don't tilt the mirror straight up to see the popcorn formation of my ceiling, I will turn it slightly where I can see my forehead. Because like if you even close your eyes right now, and whatever you are achieving or seeing as you close your eyes, you can do that with your eyes open using a mirror. And so again, you can either look straight up at the ceiling and get lost in the ceiling for the energy to come in, or you can look at yourself. Now I showed the specular hematite because the hematite mirror is not just a true reflection. It's a lot of different choppy reflections. But what happens is in the choppy reflections, you kind of get lost in that. Now, a regular mirror, say you're using something like this, you don't see that. But what you see is the same thing when you close your eyes, the patterns that you see, you'll see with your eyes open. And what you find out is you'll start transing. You learn to trans with your eyes open instead of having your eyes closed to be able to trans. So that's all. So you're looking, but again, one of my mirrors, I don't know if it's the mirror I need to send Crazy Sarge or the mirror I send my brother. One of the mirrors had the omen in it. And so the omen heads appeared in the mirror. It was one of my little ones. I'm not sure which one, but the omen heads appeared in the mirror. So here I'm looking in the mirror and the omen head is looking, omic head is looking back at me. And then the first time I saw omen with a beard, I was looking at my slightly bigger mirror and the omen with a beard appeared, which I had never ran into before. And then one of my books, one of the advertisements of one of the pages was the bearded, one of the omen with a beard. And so I saw it in the mirror before I actually saw it in the book. So what you're trying to see is you're trying to get a connection with the mirror, and everything you can experience meditating with your eyes closed, you can meditate with that mirror and you can get those experiences. Georgia, he would never take South Carolina. We don't rock with blue. Interesting. Sleepy Joe needs to to read. Yeah, he needs some of them electric shocks and shit. That's what they need to do for his ass when he go and then do his speech. Ronald Reagan left office 78 with dementia, and Joe Biden entered the president with dementia. Yeah. Are you looking forward to March? Not really. Reagan was a different Reagan after he got shot. After he got shot, dementia he was kind of sharp up until that point. But after he got shot, whatever threat he was doing to America, it took him away after he got shot. And it shortened his mind, definitely. It didn't appear like he suffered at all before he got shot. After he got shot, he suffered tremendously from dementia. Yeah. Wasn't the same cat. I don't know, Charlie Murphy, if I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's I don't know. It's going to be one of the least interesting without the fans there. So I don't know. But it's the same old SOS, same old shit that we always see. So same, not a true victory, but picked victory. So we'll see, guys. We'll see. All right. So I don't know if I'm looking so much for it. I like watching Michigan. I like Juwan. You know, I like Levers that went to my high school. So I'd like to see them do well. Oh, my internet sucks. Well, my son's playing video games. But Michigan wanted an 89 team. Kind of reminds me of that type of team. So we'll see if they let them get a pass. Again, they lost two. They lost 2 championships in the last 10 years. So they might let Michigan go through with Juwan. A lot of times, remember what they did with Ali. Ali that played here for the Timberwolves. What I liked about Ali drove his same. When Ali came here, he had an old Lincoln Town car. And when Ali left here, he had that same Lincoln Town car. He saved his money. Whatever happened to him recruiting. But remember, Ali won for Villanova, Connecticut, UConn. They gave him one. So I'm looking at Howard the same way I'm looking at Ali. They let Ali win the UConn, and they might let Howard win. Again, Howard has a hell of a class coming next year. I think he has the top class returning. Did the USA buy or help build Israel in 1948? It would go back even further. It would go back into, Israel was actually, up until World War I, Israel was part of Palestine, which was part of the Ottoman Empire. So after World War I, when they cut everything up, Israel would have still been under the Ottomans or Turks. I think they was calling them Turks. Right then, well, maybe after World War I is when Britain took Israel, that area. Maybe after, I think that, yeah, after World War I, Britain was given that area. The Jewish faith people wanted that area to be free before World War II. The British denied them. But let's go back. Again, I said this the other night. See, they want to talk about Hitler, but the Jewish faith people were working with Hitler. I mean, they sent 22 or 23, like 20,000 Jewish faith people went from Germany to Israel. Again, I talk about this paper I used to have or this report I found. It wasn't 6 million Jewish faith people in all of Europe. Definitely not in Germany. Germany had 1%, which basically was 100,000 people. When they show you them painting shops, again, you have to look at the reference. Jewish faith people in America was saying boycott German goods. So you see what they did, what Hitler and them did, say, oh, they doing that to us in America, we're going to do the same. It's only 1 or 2 neighborhoods they showing you over there. They show you these same 1 or 2 neighborhoods like it was all around. Do you know when you got 1%? Now, I don't remember the number for all of Germany, but say it was 6 million people, 7 million people. What's 7 million compared to 100,000? You're only talking about a very small neighborhood. So they show you these films and you think it's all over Germany, and it's not. It's 1% of Germany. But the Germans and the Nazis worked together to take Jewish faith people down there. So they were taking them down there already. So how did and they don't like that information out. They don't like that shit out, that they work with the Nazis. They're supposed to hate the Nazis so much. They came up with the word Nazi. So, but yeah, it's the same thing. They want a base there. They want a base. Shit, it was like the Americans took Iraq, Kuwait, and the British people had Iran. So you think they really let that go? You really think they let that go? And that's where Reagan probably should have been under treason, because he did the same thing Nixon did. Don't release the hostages until after I become president. That's treason. You got Reagan was what, the governor, ex-governor of California at that time? You had him dealing with a foreign country? That's treason. Nixon did the same thing. LBJ wanted to lock his ass up. You listen to those tapes of LBJ going into Nixon's ass. And Nixon flat out lies when Nixon was telling him, don't do any negotiations of Vietnam till I become president. But then Nixon put Operation Linebacker on the ass. The bugs was running. Nixon was, which the war could have been done earlier. The train tracks that went to China could have been blown up. Hamping port should have been blown up in mines. So that's how the Russians was bringing shit. Chinese was bringing shit in the train track. Russians was bringing the SAM missiles is one of the biggest things that helped in all Vietnam was SAM missiles. Just the same way in Afghanistan were the Stinger missiles. You know, a Bear helicopter was like $1 billion helicopter. And a cheap Stinger missile that was about $7,000 was dropping these $1 billion helicopters. So that's kind of why the Russians got out that shit. So yes, to answer your question, Derek, I have to bring it up if it's already brought up. Did you catch the general mutilation scene with Michelle Obama? Yeah, I saw that shit. Hey, Maurice the Great, thank you for joining. Yeah, I saw that shit. That was some bullshit. Another handler looking to handle. It was like just her talking. I didn't even see the little person talk. I know we invade a country we don't leave. Instead of possible American Bible being held in Brazil by the Jesuits or ancient book, rather. Yeah, Charlie, I'll get into that. But yeah, I saw that with Michael, Michelle, whatever you want to call that being, trying to still stay relevant. And, you know, Gabriel is his handler. But in the Time Walking Papers, they talk about the true Bible that they came over here and the Europeans were able to acquire it. And so it's not a lot that Meredith Quinn talks about, but Lester House brings it up. And again, we are asking for, we're not even asking, you're going to have to return it. They're going to have to return it. They can't leave the country with it. And that's why American God says, you know, once a God leaves America, it'll die. Well, that's what they're talking about. They're talking about that Bible. So Meredith Quinn doesn't really get deep into it with the Time Walking Papers, but he talks about a holy book being written before they came. He doesn't call it a codex. There's a difference. He doesn't call it a codex. He actually called it the Bible. And so they hold this, and more than likely they hold it in the Inquisitor's office in Brazil, but they can't take it out of this country. So it is that. It's not much more I can tell you about it, but it does tell some of the early histories, the true histories of the America. And that's another reason why they hide it. Because it tells that, I mean, it's like I didn't understand. Like, see, this is what happened. All these people, again, they drive out the conscious community because they're all basically Pan-Africans. So they attack them. It's a summer where they're just attacking them. And then, okay, once you show that this conscious community out of New York is all frauds and they're all Pan-Africans, so then you had what naturally happens. You have the so-called American Indians attacking each other because, again, if you attack your fellow people, what do you think is going to happen when you become in charge? And I'm not saying that the American Indian movement ever became in charge, but what I'm saying is, what did you expect to happen? And so you had a lot of these mugs going after the established people because Turtle Gang didn't ever fuck with them people like that, that conscious community. He would come on Brother Rich channel every once in a while, but he really wasn't with them dudes. And all of them attacking him. Whether Lenape wasn't here, the Lenape traveled to other parts and came here. It's like, you see, it's the same thing all over again. So it makes you think all these people had agendas. Someplace that the building has to start back up. How do you win a war against one foe and then you just start having a war with no building? And if you really know the history is always movement around this world. That's why they had to make up that lie of the Berian strength. That shit never existed. People always traveled around the world. Again, when you started 1 billion and you come to 2021, we are not going up. We are going backwards. So, but my point is, you know, there are all these people attacking this good brother. And their people been on that land forever. So, how do you spot a handler? Wow. It's funny. I was thinking about, matter of fact, as soon as you said that question, it made me think about when I was hanging with Leon Spinks my senior year when he was heavyweight champion and Hank Grooms was training him. And Butch Jones was always around there. And I know Butch Jones was his manager, but I just always got that feeling that Butch Jones was also his handler. I didn't get that so much with Michael Spinks, but I definitely got that with Leon, that Butch Jones was probably his handler. Because Butch was doing a little something for Ali back in the day, and that's what I felt. So another example, Shaq. It appears like they don't say Shaq's real father. He was on Ricky Lake. He was on the real father. That's who they say was the real father. But I think Shaq's stepfather, the military man, was his handler. And he started handling him as a boy. Remember, Zion Williams, that ain't his daddy. That was his stepdaddy. And that's what we see a lot with these people. You see the stepfathers, what happens to the real father? Again, LeBron didn't even have a stepdaddy. His mother got artificially inseminated at 15 by Nate Thurman. I don't know how much you hang out where, ball players be, but you can kind of see it's always someone there that you kind of get the feeling that they're in charge and the person refers to them a lot. Those are kind of, I don't know. It's like you can see people that's handling other people. But again, you have to kind of be around people to see that. So in everyday life, you're not going to see it, but you see it with celebrity. You do see it with celebrity. So it's kind of a hard thing to point that out to common people because common people don't have it. And unless you really hang out with athletes like that, it's something hard to spot. You can't, because a lot of times you're not even going to spot it on TV because most of the time, I'll tell you one handler that they wanted to be out in the open was Puffy. And what's the fat guy that was in jail all the time? Suge Knight. Puffy became a handler. Puffy handled Biggs. He handled Craig Max. He handled Total. I mean, think about it like this. It's been entertaining. Like, remember the story? What was it called? Damon Dame? His partner dies. He can't even continue doing music anymore. Big dies. Not 6 months, Puffy got his sweet ass running around the stage at the Grammys. He comes up with Sting's song. Does that look like a man that was devastated his best friend got murdered? I mean, that look like a man, if the story is true, when you're protecting a person, they never sit next to the window. They sit back in the middle where it's blacked out. So if it's a true story, he was put in that driver's seat position on purpose so he could be hit. But anybody that does security, the asset is always in the back where it's blacked out, so you don't know which seat he's in. I mean, they did the same thing with fucking Tupac, put him in the passenger seat. And I heard a thing that they said Tupac took off the bulletproof vest because it was too hot. But he had it on earlier that day, apparently. I don't know. So these are how you spot handlers of these type of people. North Korea got tungsten mines, parts for the space shuttles, and Iran, I'm sure, have resources. Biden started war in his term. Hell, I think so. I mean, Uncle Imbecile did blow up. He did blow up that one general, but it wasn't for a year or two. But Biden already him and Sister Girl. And I'm probably guessing that's Sister Girl's move. That's what I'm guessing. That was her move, not Biden. Biden doesn't seem with it. And it's no matter what they try to tell you. Dude can't even read the teleprompter. Everybody was ignoring that shit. Dude wasn't smart on the debates. I think they did have him shocks on the debates because when he's debating, you can kind of see he's like.
It's like to me, it's like trying to be a girl. That Gibson Union is the devil. Yeah, it's probably a man too. Her earlier movie show she was on showed that she was an evil spirit. She also played the same evil role. I remember that. Yeah, we think 2020 is more like 1021. There you go. It's almost like we are making these designer babies for sports. Definitely. LeBron's daddy was Dante West. And you see how they broke that poor man's spirit. LeBron found out he was fucking his mama. Yeah, you see what happened to him. Got rid of him, and look at him now. I mean, it wasn't enough to destroy that man. They broke that man. I mean, you know how much I just don't get. The man had a lot of money. How do you do that much drugs without dying? If you spending tens of thousands, say 10 years ago, you spending tens of thousands on cocaine, how didn't you die? How didn't you die? I mean, Richard Pryor tried to kill himself. Marvin Gaye did suicide by police. Michael Ray Richardson had to leave the country. So how do you do tens of thousands worth of cocaine, crack, freebase, base cocaine? How do you do that without dying with that much money? We ain't talking about crackheads that get paid every Friday, Saturday and spending their $300. We're talking about a motherfucker with a lot of money to buy keys or constantly buying ounces. That would kill you. But Diddy was happy he owned all the rights. Yes, he did. Ross Hamilton writes a book on serpent mounds near Cincy. Have you come across any of the mounds? Yes, I have. I've got a few books that talk about them. There's another book that gets into all the mounds in America. There's pretty reasonable price that I should buy. But yeah, how do I want to say this? See, the thing about the mounds, they're not all from the same period. Again, there's a mound near me about 45 minutes away. I might go tomorrow. It's going to be 60 later today. I might shoot out there. I know my daughter probably not going to want to go, but I've been wanting to go out there and video and just pay my respects. So the mounds can't be all looked at as the same period because they're not from all the same period. There's the significance are different for different mounds. Those mounds seem to be a little older than, like I was saying, all the mounds that we find in Wisconsin. They don't tie that into finding the 12-foot beams in that mound. So, but the energy is the same quadruquadal energy that is found later as you go into South America. So it appears like it's that same kind of worship. So some of the quadruquadal energies, it appears that way. But yeah, it's a book. I'll try to get the name of that. I just came across that, and I'll shoot you that. Ross Hamilton. Yeah, I don't think it was the name. I'll see if that's the name. But it was another book I just came across. But thank you for bringing that up. Puff Daddy also performed that song for Diana Remembers in England. Yeah. And Mark Cuban helps him get clean. He hates LeBron. And again, Cuban's story ain't believable either. It ain't believable. Really, you could buy a restaurant when you quit school. You quit going to college and you take the money that you could use for college and you're able just to buy a fucking restaurant with the liquor license. And you're able just Unifriend to create AOL all by yourself, Unifriend. No, they created it in the garage. All the same fucking bullshit stories that ain't believable. They're just not fucking believable. It's like the FUBU dude. How did FUBU get rich when you saw FUBU close at the $10 stores? So how did they ever make money with FUBU like that? What was his name? Karl Kani. Karl Kani couldn't meet the demand of his clothing line. Remember that? And FUBU, he worked for FUBU before that. And they was having the same issues, not being able to meet demand. So how did the dude on Shark Tank really make money like that? And it wasn't long where FUBU was in the $10 stores. Like Master P clothes. Let me say this. Master P made some of the best sweatsuits I ever had. And Michigan has stores that nothing was over $10 for clothes. And Master P brand, I bought a brown and white sweatsuit. I think the top was brown and white, the pants was brown,
and I bought a blue and white. I mean, this stuff was thicker than this. I mean, it was well made. I was surprised that that stuff was there. It's like, why is this stuff here? It was really well made clothes. I never understood why it didn't get successful, because here's a hooper that designed nice, good outfits, and you got puffy shit that was in Macy's, and you never had Master P's clothes in Macy's. So I never understood, was it distribution? What was it? Because the clothes were really well made. Those sweatsuit lasted me for years. And for the sweat outfit, I paid $20. And the stuff was heavier than, I mean, it was really heavy material, the tops and bottoms. And those of you that are old enough to remember that. And I never understood that, why those clothes were so, he couldn't distribute it properly. So they be picking and choosing who they want to get wealthy. The FUBU founder was Damon John. Mark Cuban, besides Jordan, the rest of the owners are Jewish faith. Yep. Damon John, No Limit Soldiers, they baller. Yes, Ethan. Them clothing lines were here and gone. Yes, they were. Most of those dudes already have connections about, and what you can do for them. Somewhat, yeah. But it's just, that's what it always caught me, is why the clothes were well made. Like some of that Sean John stuff early wasn't well made stuff. I never understood why it was at Macy's. And you can still get his shit at Macy's. But it's funny, I noticed what Macy's did is they took out the Tommy Hilfiger shit and they took out the polo shit. Because remember, you'd go to Macy's, it was just an area of Tommy Hilfiger, and the polo stuff had its own like paneled walls and stuff. Yeah, they done broke that shit up. They took away the Tommy Hilfiger shit and they done mixed the polo part with Tommy Hilfiger. So that shit is looks like it's kind of dying off too. But a bunch of Macy's got closed. Don't forget, a bunch of the Macy's got closed. So they are suffering as well. Master P did have some fresh sweatsuits, but ugly shoes. Yeah, I never bought a pair of his shoes. Most of those do. Yeah, I never bought I didn't even know he had shoes. He had shoes? I didn't even know that. It's like I never even saw the 50 Cent shoes. I guess he had shoes by Reebok. I don't think I ever saw a pair. I don't think I ever saw a pair of shoes like that. And now shoes are just saturated. But it's funny, if you get you can design your own shoes, but you'll get the same mold. It's like you can design your shoes, but you'll get the damn same mold. But what's funny is, if anybody's had friends that was in the army and went to Korea, and I'd say this is like the last 30 years. If you had people that went to Korea, don't you know you could show them pictures and they would take the shoes to Korea and they'd get the damn shoes made. Now, I don't know how they did the bottoms, but I don't know if anybody remembers that. If you had some relatives that were soldiers, they could take pictures. Like all the jackets and clothes, they would give you the same shit in Korea. But Korea was the one place where if you sent them a pair of Jordans, they would sew that shit and bring you, your relative would bring you or send you back some goddamn Jordans, handmade. I don't know if people remember that. But Korea was one of the first places that you could get the shoes actually made. They would make the shoe. So it was probably better. It wasn't like knockoffs. And remember, when they first came off with the Jordan knockoffs in in 2006, those knockoffs weren't much different than the original shoe. Some instance, I had a couple pair that were better. I had two. It was a 2 or a 3, and I kept those shoes forever. They weren't good hoop shoes, but I cut grass in them for about 10 years. And they never fell apart. You couldn't hoop in them. It was the wrong sole. And then I had other shoes that was just as good. I mean, the Jordans now are not, unless you're getting the top Jordans, the remake ones, throwback ones ain't as good as the originals. Again, people that were serious hoopers back then bought Jordans because they was the best shoe by far. Now I've had the pumps. I told the story. I bought a brand new pair of pumps, and this was probably the second generation pumps. And we were doing the we were doing the MEI. What was it called? I can't even think of it wasn't AAU, but it was another championship we did at Fort Wayne every year. And this young boy, I always took 2 or 3 pair of shoes, and I had just bought a pair of second generation pumps. I only spent about $100, so it wasn't much, but I had bought another pair. Then when I got down there, they had it was like it's called I can't think of the gym site. It'll come to me, but they had a clothing thing selling shoes and stuff. So I bought a new pair of shoes when I got down there.
So I had 3 brand new pair of shoes because when you do 10 or 11 games, I would always rotate socks every other game and shoes every other game. So I saw a young boy, he was from Michigan, and he was hooping in these raggedy tennis, like track shoes. And this guy's got to play 7 or 8 more games. And I just gave him a pair of shoes. It's funny, when I went up to him, I'm like, here, what size you wear? That was the first thing he said, I wear 13th. I said, here you go. You can have these. And I think the look he gave me was like, what do you want me to do? Follow you to your car or some shit? That's the look he gave me. I said, I'll tell you what, if you don't want these motherfuckers, I'll put them back in my bag. Good luck. He's like, no, I'll take them. And I just gave them to him. And I remember the other coaches, the other refs was looking at me like, do you know him? I'm like, no. It's like, this young man needed some shoes. He down here got to play all these games. And, just gave him the damn shoes. And they was like the second generation pumps. The first generation pumps cost more than the Jordans. The ones D Brown had in the dunk contest, that's what I'm talking about, the second generation ones. Those wasn't the original pumps. The original pumps was, a lot of people call them Dominique Wilkins. Those shoes, I think, was, man, some reason I'm thinking 4, but at least 300 or 275. It was outrageous. The original pumps, because Randy Brewer that played with the Bucks, he was where my daughter went to preschool. He's the janitor there, and I saw him wearing a pair of those. And they're very rare as far as my search. And I saw Randy Brewer wearing it. I had met Randy when he was newly retired. And he had a pair, and I'm like, man, where you get that? I'm like, who are you? And we got to talking. I'm like, you're Randy. And he's like, yeah. So, but the original pumps cost, I think, $275. So in 1986, 87, how many people could afford 275 pair of tennis shoes? And I could see Gators, but I didn't buy a pair. They was way more than the Jordans. Do you have a specific pick to win the NBA championship? I am thinking, give me one more day, because right now I'm looking at if they go, what was it? Sixers, Jazz. If they go Sixers, Jazz, it'll be Sixers beating the Jazz. And I'm wondering if that is why the 2 cats got fined and talk shit. I'm wondering if that's why, setting that up. So if it's Sixers, Jazz, I'm going with the Sixers winning. The other 2 would be Warriors, Sixers 2, Warriors, Sixers. So a lot of my breakdowns is involved with the Sixers. Now, Warriors, Sixers, they could let the Sixers win that one too. Now, if we have the Lakers, Sixers, I don't think they're gonna do the Dr. J, and they're gonna let LeBron lose. So right now I'm looking at the Sixers making it out of the East. That's what I'm guessing. So I'm gonna hold tight to that right now but I got 2 scenarios where I think the Sixers could win. So tomorrow I'll give a final answer. But I'm seeing the Sixers coming out of the East, and either if it's Sixers, Jazz, it's definitely Sixers gonna win. Warriors, Sixers, they could still give it to the Sixers. But if it's Lakers, Sixers, then it's definitely LeBron's gonna win. So I would do a little more. Them D Browns coming back on the 15th. Dominique pumps up there too. I remember that. Yeah, Dominique's shoes came out way before. Dominique's shoes was probably 15 years before. Let me see, I was still coaching then. So my son was born in 89. Yeah, that had to have been 87, 88. I had one player that had a pair. Pat had a pair. Pat K-Spear had a pair. And they were like 2 something, where Jordan's was 100, 120, and even the 88, 89 still was up there for price, but not 2 something. How much of the USA population you think will take the vaccine? So what is it, 300 million? I would say easily 100 million. I would say 100 million people will probably take it. I would say it's going to be 50-50 people who don't take it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they get 100 million people to take it. Right? Isn't that U.S. population 300 million? Yeah, 300 million or something. So I would say they'll get 100 million people to take it, and then the shit is going to kind of trickle away a little bit. And other people are going to be, because it's going to be wait and see. It's going to be wait and see. Because people right now are taking it what was I reading? I was reading something again. How did they put it? Let me read this. This might be interesting read for everybody. Let me read this. One of the guys I grew up with. We kind of have some like minds, and he be dropping some interesting shit. So let me read this. This is worth to listen. This is definitely worth to listen. Here we go, right here. Let me read it all. Every crisis becomes a religion if it lasts long enough. One factor in the transformation is the beautiful theory phenomenon. The power elite insists that remedies are logical and politically correct, so they must work, even if the actual event shows they obviously don't. When the beautiful theories crash into hard co-reality and shatter, faith is the glue used by the elites to put their precious ideas back together. They need militant faith to get the job done. True believers eager to crush doubt and compel evidence by making war on infidels. Some are swept into the faith because they desperately crave a sense of control over the crisis. They need to deliver something they need to believe something can be done. They'd rather invest their faith in debunked beautiful theories than to have no faith at all. Faith is a con that demands to be spent. Some crave social approval. People on Facebook showing the shots. And the purveyors of beautiful theories have immense political, economic, and cultural power to make faith seem fashionable. Remember, the mass, they're putting, putting bullshit on the mass. Virtue signaling that virtue signaling is such a plague in modern society because the signals are prepackaged and made very easy to send. Some aren't even hoping they can assist control over a crisis by converting it to its religion. They settle for just having some meaning, some simplicity, a sense that the righteous will fare better than the unbelievers, that the virtue will be rewarded while the sin is punished. That a very common impulse with the Church of COVID, since the beautiful theories are so very obviously wrong. There isn't much left in the faith except the visceral, communal satisfaction of hoping unbelievers will be punished for their blasphemy with sickness and death. The sort of thing happens with all the crisis religions, although not usually as quickly and obviously with the Church of COVID. Look at the endless stream of movies about how the world became an apocalypse hellscape because people didn't believe in global warming. The last resort of every religious crisis, the last thing that put asses in the pews in that addiction to misery porn, the collective hope that unbelievers will suffer someday, and everyone will admit the true faith was right all along as Judgment Day crashes down on them. The elite never had the humanity to admit they were wrong. They would never give up politically or financially profitable solutions, even when they obviously don't solve the problem. Finding a crisis religion means they never have to say they're sorry. This applies to some long-standing crisis like the war on poverty, whose nostrums long ago transformed to fanatical, expensive articles, religious faith, even as mountains of data accumulated that proved that they were utter failures and often made the things worse. You can look at some telltale signs of crisis transforming into a religion. The most obvious one is when the high priest tell you the war you've been drafted to will never end, continuous war. They become very angry when asked to define success or failure or lay out an exit strategy. Watch for the moment when you're told science means not asking questions, defying dogma, or challenging consensus. This is the literal definition of faith and not science. Always keep an eye out for moving goalposts, which are the signature miracle of crisis religion, their version of parting the waters or loaves with fishes. Crisis religions work very hard to make their faith falsifiable by constantly changing the standards of evidence. Check to see if certain people are accumulating large amounts of money and a power from the crisis. The crisis helped Biden become president. That's a pretty good sign it's turning into a religion. A crisis should be solved quickly and effectively or efficiently as possible. Don't let it fester long enough to become a special interest. Above all, look for the whiff of arrogance to develop around the crisis. Wise, religious, and effective crisis managers have something in common, a sense of humility. Crisis religions are militant faiths and they quickly become arrogant, smug, and totalitarian Detect people who truly want to solve a problem will look for evidence that their analysis is wrong or that their policies aren't working and make adjustments as quickly as possible, no matter the cost of embarrassment to their humanity. Crisis religions are arrogant. They reject criticism, insist their beautiful theory must be right because they're ideologically pure. They fit snugly into a worldview that must not be challenged. Their plans only fail because their commands are disobeyed or sabotaged. The high priest of a crisis religion sees devils everywhere, the mass, because the religion can be everywhere. Because they're identically pure, they fit snugly into a worldwide view that can't be challenged. The high priest of crisis religion sees devils everywhere, leering at them from the rubble of every failure. Only sin can explain why their beautiful theories are tarnished. Failure is never their fault, so it must be yours. They find your lack of your faith disturbing. And you know what? A lot of people want to see the world that way, including a great many self-described atheists. They hunger for the comfort of faith and the vibrant energy of militancy. They want to be right. They want the wrong to suffer. Conservatives think religious faith in the state is terrifying and wonder why so many embrace it. It's because uncertainty is much more frightening. A simple false story is better than a complex true one, which enough faith, maybe one can force a simple story to be true. So that kind of hits the head on it some way. Hey, Lobo, thank you for joining me. Hey, Gaming, what's happening? Send me this for real. Okay, email me and I'll send it to you. Link the article. This is the article. And let me see, it's on under, I don't know, Tommy wrote it. You're going to have to email me to get it because you know I'm not that sophisticated. But I can copy it because Tommy doesn't show where he got it from. Yeah, it doesn't show. Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't show where he got it from. So you have to email me for me to copy it and send it to you. Eagles are the bomb at gmail.com. Or look up on my page under Brian Toby Macon on Facebook. You can take it off my page. One or the other. Yep. What's your meet? Is Eagle R the bomb at gmail.com. So it's Eagle R, like R, THE, bomb at gmail.com. Or you can find it on Facebook under my name, Brian Toby Macon. So. So I was laughing. My brother would say my name because my nickname is Toby, but it turned into Tobe as I got to be a man. And then like Tasha, if you ever hear me and Tasha, she calls me nothing but Brian. That's all Tasha called me. But so does Awakened One. She don't say her name though, which is okay. It's just funny. It's just funny to me. Lee is great. She's great. But yeah, that's where you can find it. So. But if you email me, I'll do my best to send it to you. Copy it and send it to you. Because he doesn't leave a link. He doesn't say where it comes from or anything. Tommy just copied it. Put it out there. And I was the worst father today. Wasn't sure of my daughter's mother's schedule. I knew my daughter was coming, but I had forgot to pick her up from gymnastics. So I get a call. It's like 20 after. I'm supposed to pick her up at 12. Her godmother's like, I'll go pick her up. They called me and I see you didn't get her. I'm like, yeah. And then her mother's yelling at me. What, you forgot your kid? I'm like, yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure what time she went to work. So I felt kind of bad. I felt bad for my daughter, but it was only like 20 some minutes. So I sent you my Facebook request. Okay. I hope I can get it because I'm like almost at 5,000. So if I can request you, I'll bring you in. I stay around 5,000. Which is the maximum on Facebook. You know, and Facebook is, again, the CIA, and they're doing all their, censorship. That is one thing, shows you it's communism. Again, what happens when a banana republic takes charge? They have to keep troops around them. And that's what Biden and Sister Girl have done. Slow Joe and Sister Girl, them troops ain't going anywhere. Them troops are staying there the whole time. Because they're doing things more and more where we should have been rebelled. I'll say one thing that Zach says that I got to agree with is the time might have passed to rebel. That's why what they showed on the 6th, American people should have been doing all summer. Driving your cars down there closest you could get to DC and actually put a real stoppage to the government. And what are they going to do with 300 million people going to DC? Nothing they could have did. Now they're prepared for that. Because believe me, these next 3 years is going to be rough. They're already showing you that. I mean, this stimulus money they're borrowing, I mean, yeah, it feels nice for the little bit of come up, but look at it for the long term. And it's going to hurt our children in the long run. All the psyops going around about, melanated people, hurting melanated people. I mean, these psyops are just ridiculous. Because it takes the eye off the real oppressor. You, my oppressor, when I want my freedom. You, my oppressor, when I want my rights. You, my oppressor. Yeah, they didn't like that. Most powerful man in the world is telling you, I'm not going to Viet Cong to kill yellow people because my oppressor is here. I should show these pictures of these Japanese chicks. When did Japanese people become European looking? It's like you got these people with the Japanese face, but how long have they had albino skin or European skin? It's amazing. It's amazing. What was it? When I was a child, Japanese people were looked at as yellow tinted people. No, let me take that back. Chinese people were looked as yellow tinted people. Japanese tend to be more olive looking. Korean and them was more olive, but Chinese people were looked at as having a yellow tint. I'm friends with the actress, and it's like anime. Anime shows European features. You notice on the live anime, they don't make Chinese or Japanese characters. They're more round-eyed looking. You guys notice that? Let me see if I can find this chick. Find this Japanese chick. And I kind of laugh when you see all these people that are I'm like friends with 3 or 4 actresses, which just trips me out. I don't know why I'm friends with these actresses. But for some reason, I'm friends. Let me see if this chick pops up. Maybe not. And I don't know her name right off. But this chick is whiter looking than me. It's like, wow. When did they not be yellow anymore? Well, not seeing her. I am not seeing her, so I don't know. But it's just funny to me. It's like we should have stormed DC, the Patriot Act. They stripped us down since 2001. And I remember my father when Gaddafi got bombed. And I remember how elated he was. And he was just running around saying they'll do it again. And I'm thinking, and then when the Patriot Act came off, I remember my father said, I don't talk to anybody anything about terrorists, so I don't care if they listen to what I say. And I just remember, here's this brilliant man, but doesn't get it. I just remember thinking like, it's like the Patriot Act virtually gave the police, again, when I was a cop, if a motherfucker beat me in the house, I couldn't do shit. I couldn't kick in his door to go after him. If it's just a regular warrant, if he just has a regular warrant and I don't have a search warrant, I couldn't kick his door in. You had to have a search warrant, not just an arrest warrant. You had to have a search arrest warrant to kick in their doors. When I was a cop, that's what we had to go by. We couldn't just kick like if a dude had a misdemeanor, we wasn't kicking in his door. Fucking Patriot Act let you kick in their door for any misdemeanor. Child support, kick in their door. Too many drunk driving, kick in their door. When I went to the police academy, don't you know there is a shooting a fleeing felon. We spent 2 days on that. You could not shoot a fleeing felon under no circumstances. If they got away, they could have killed your partner, but if they are fleeing, you could not shoot a fleeing felon unless they were shooting back at you. But if they was running, you couldn't just shoot at their ass unless they shot back at you. But if they was just running to get away, you couldn't shoot at them. This is 89, 90. That Patriot Act bullshit, all that shit went out the window. That's why they do the PSYOPs. Like the fake PSYOP in South Carolina where the brothers, stole the car just running and shit. Remember, he was doing that low running. And the cop supposedly shoots him while he's running. That still really ain't legal. They changed the law. But yeah, the Patriot Act stripped a lot of, but it's like when they did with the income tax. Wasn't nobody there. They rushed it through with nobody there. Rushed the shit through. They kill a couple people on Titanic. What's the name? Austin's. Astor's. They kill Astor. They kill the biggest opponents to income tax. JP Morgan don't get on the ship. So they killed those people. They killed all these people, which on the other hand, this was a injured boat for insurance anyway. It was a boat that had got injured beforehand. So they knew, but they really wanted to go after the Astor dude. When I was in college, there was always Asian people that tried their best to look European. Yeah. There are Black Japanese in the high mountains. Same thing in Vietnam, the mountain yards. You look at mountain yards, even some people in Cambodia, though, but especially the mountain yard people. Yep. Then the yellow people look like they've been slapped in the face by Mike Epps from Powder. Yeah. This actress, I'm like, whoa. Yeah, they label you a terrorist or anything now. Economic terrorist, you protesting because you stop in business. Indeed. From here till 30, it's going to get so bad that people are going to wish they had acted. I've seen what communists do to people, and this is going to be Songbird. America shoot anything running. Yeah, they do now, gaming. It was like what was done in Tiananmen Square. I knew a lady that was over there. She worked for Hilton's. She worked at one of the Hiltons over in China, and she was there when they was killing the people that was protesting. Because again, the protesters were backed by the Americans. You can believe that. And they had enough. And they was murking them people right out in the opens, just murking them. And that's what she was telling me. I was sitting with her last week, and she was telling me about it. Every time I see her, I ask her more about it, and she always gives me more, little more. But it was like they was just straight out murking people. It was like 20,000 people out there, and the government just started killing them, massively just killing them. Once the military went in there, and the ones they didn't kill, they just now letting them out if they still ain't locked up. So, and what did America do? You put all them CIA people and got them people riled up, and when the shit hit the fans, did any Phantom jets go bomb them Chinese or anything to stop them from murdering innocent folks? Never happened, did it? When Tricky Dick got us dealing with China ain't never changed. In the 1920s, when Stalin was starving the Christians, the ones he didn't murder, Americans had to go in there and save all them Christians. Taking them food, taking them seeds so they can be self-sufficient. Stalin wasn't trying to say the Christians. It was Jewish. Russia is a Jewish faith state. You got to understand that. They ain't atheists. Them cats is Jewish faith. They ain't atheists like they try to tell you. Stalin, Lenin, Trotsky, all of them, Jewish faith people. The Bolsheviks. And I know people hate hearing this, but Hitler was the only one that fought them. Japanese fought them 20 years before, or around the 1890s, the Japanese fought them. But they were fighting the Christians because they was fighting the Tsar people. But the Bolsheviks was all Jewish faith people. That's who took over. They killed the Christian Tsar. And then they tried to starve to death the rest of the Christians. America had to step in and save like 20 million people. They were just going to let starve. Lice was so bad that lice was like this, 2-3 inches deep of lice in everybody's houses. Lice can turn into disease that'll kill you. You live around lice long enough, it can turn into a disease that will kill you. They going in the houses and it looked like wallpaper, 2-3 inches of lice on all the walls, and nothing the people can do to get rid of that shit. This is what they let happen to the Christians in the Jewish run. And Hitler, my cousin's ex-husband is like, no, Hitler wasn't. Yeah, Hitler fought them Jewish faith folks. So you know, this is the lie that they tell. They don't tell you that country what that country is. They try to tell you they're atheists, and they ain't. The Bolsheviks were not atheists. So it ain't just Israel that's a Jewish faith state. It's up there too. But they hide under communism. Communists love, or Jewish faith people love communism. They just do. It's easier to control people. You think the Chinese really run China? And it's a communist state? Do you really think that? Who gave them the idea? Shot anything. Timler, why is it I said the other day is going to be high price to pay? There's no way it gets better. They are doing that in Myanmar right now. So is all hope lost? No, work on you. Work on you. Work on you. That's it. Work on you. Work on your spirituality right now. So no matter what happens, you are spiritually protected and your people are spiritually protected. So teach them all that. Have them be around like my environment. My children are going to be all right because they're just in this environment. Regardless, whatever my rhetoric is, whatever my dogma is, they don't have to believe in that. But the spiritualness that's in this house, they are going to be, what is the word I'm looking for? Is going to be in their psyche. They'll be able to fall back on this. And that's what you have to set up. You have to see through this illusion. Like my daughter was talking about, this is gravity. This is not gravity. This is up and down. That's why I say when you look at flat earth, there's building on top and there's building on below. It ain't no true up or down. So you go from there. Is flat plane 2D? Is there gravity in it? No, it's not. But you can build up from illusion. So, and this is hard. This is hard. It's like this beast that is the true AI. The shit seems so real and you seem like your heart is broken. But if you've experienced it before and you have enough vision, you like, okay, this has happened. I can't let this destroy me. It's sad. But if you have foresight and you experienced it already, you're prepared. And people may look at you as cold and you just see that this ain't real. It feels real, but it ain't real. I mean, it's really not real. And I don't know how much more I can tell people that. This is a simulation. Quantum computers tell you it's a simulation because the true earth doesn't need to do duality. And I don't mean like duality of the hero twins. I mean, duality is this path or that path. That's a machine. That's the machine. The machine needs every thought. That's why they tell you the cloud shit. That's the machine needing that. So, you know, we live because the machine has to, like even if you come not just in a fork in a road, know how sometimes it's 4 different ways you can go. So it's like double forks backed up. You come to a road and there's 4 forks. You come from a fork and there's 3 other forks where you can go by. Well, that's kind of how this machine does sometimes. I try to tell you guys to experience. I've pulled on the highway and I'm about to make a left turn and I don't go. But I watch one of me go. I physically don't go. My consciousness, who I am right now sitting in front of you, I did not pull out. But I watched my little truck, they call it a daddy wagon. I watched my truck drive up the hill. And I remember laughing because I was like, well, that me is in a hurry. And then I let the car go by and then I go. How is that possible? I physically saw myself driving up the hill. But you test this out. Don't pull in. Don't go. Don't pull in front of a car or pull in front of the car. And then you just look back in your window to see if you still see a car sitting there that's you. To see if you can catch this thing, make a mistake. Because it has to do everything. One of you has to go across and drive fast. One of you waited. This is this thing. This is how this thing goes, and test it. That I bring up driving because that gives you, like, if one of you says I could have beat this car, then one of you did beat that car. That's my point. One of you did beat that car. One of you waited. And that shows you that this is the machine. Mu don't act like that. The universe doesn't act like that. The universe does not need to do all these different simulations to be right. Only a machine thinks like that. The natural flow does not work like that. Doesn't have to be duality in that regard. So fight that. I'll say that's the biggest fight, but test it. It's always reptilians. I heard Yusuf El frequency ready to talk about Jews in Russia and China and their power. Yeah, they've been like that. Favorite firearm? SIG. SIG 320, and you can get the brace. Yeah, it's the most accurate of pistols, and it's pistols with the brace. You put the new trigger in, you put the heavier springs in, but I love SIGs. I'm gonna get a 226 eventually, but that's my favorite. And shotguns, I've had experience where you ain't really got to pay too much to get effective shotgun. A Mossberg, Remingtons. I mean, but I kind of like saws a little more than I like ARs. I know my son always says they cost too much, but they're a little more durable. So I tend to like saws a little more, but we're rebuilding. My son and I are about to rebuild, and we're going to rebuild some more ARs. So, I say go more with an AR than an AK, because if fighting starts, you're going to see more ARs laying around than you are AKs. You got to look at spare parts. Don't just buy guns and that's just all you got. You got to look for spare parts. And even though pistols are a defensive gun, pistols will take a beating. Pistols will take a beating. You can, like, you shoot 100 rounds out of an AR, that motherfucker is smoking. It's smoking like a motherfucking 50 rounds, especially if you didn't get a chrome line barrel. So shoot 30 rounds. That motherfucker is smoking. So you always want spare parts. You always want to have spare parts. So I can't say one brand over the other, because once you get the basic guts of an AR, I would say I don't really care for the lowers that are 3D printed. I see people have more problems with them, so I tend to not want that. But you can get a cheap CMM lower that you can build all the stuff on top and get the specially triggered. So it's so like if you had $2,000 to build an AR, you could have a hell of a gun. Get a $400 or $500 scope. Get the little cheap scopes. So I'll tell you what I like is that 308 Winchester in a rifle. You talking about a bullet like this with the lead is like that. So I kind of like that round too in the rifle, because you are shooting like engines out. That 308 Winchester, you hit a fucking engine, that engine gonna stop. I don't care how much metal's in that engine. You shoot an engine with a 308, it's gonna stop. I mean, you talking about a bullet like that. So, but it's handguns, SIGs definitely. Almost everybody can shoot them accurate. AR SIG, I haven't been reading a lot of good reports about them, so I would say make your own. I really wouldn't go, because I know the government gave SIGs the 320. They call it something else, but they basically, all the Army carries 320 SIGs, but they also got a contract for the new ARs too. Haven't heard a lot of good things about the SIG ARs, so I don't know. You have to do your own research. Just build your own though. You'll come out a lot cheaper just building your own. Again, a lot of people say you should have a shotgun in your house, but if you have cheap practice ammo like 150 grade 9, it's gonna shoot through most walls. It's gonna shoot through most floors. That shit's coming out really hot, and that is one round where you have target rounds you can kill, because that shit's gonna go through most shit. So I know a lot of people don't like them, but I do. I love those target rounds because they are fast movers and will shoot through anything. The problem with a shotgun, remember, when you're moving through your home in a shotgun, if you're in a hallway, it's hard to move in some hallways. You got that SIG with a 9, or you got any 9mm pistol. If you got to shoot through the floor, it'll go through the floor. And I don't mean you don't have to have the hollow point. You can just get practice rounds. And the practice rounds move so fast that they'll go through damn near anything. So that's why I like 9s for that. And again, if it's some type of conflict, you want a weapon that, this is seriously is fighting, is killing people. It's killing people. And the same thing applies with the AR. You want rounds where once you kill people, you can pick up their rounds and then you can use them in your guns. That's something to keep in mind. So, and that's the reality of war. It's killing people. Really, because this is the reality of a firefight. Most people, this is, okay, just think of, I'm going to put you here. When that motherfucker pulled that gun out, supposedly, and when people was watching Batman, you know how long it took people to hit the floor, at least try to hide? Because you're sitting here watching the motherfucker shoot. Do you know how, first of all, you're going to be in shock. Second of all, because of shock, you ain't even going to move. You don't even feel real. Even if you had a gun, most people would be caught so off guard compared to, remember the motherfucker tried to pull that shit in the church and they popped his ass in church. Remember dude was put a gun on some people in church and they popped his ass? That's trained people. Again, a lot of this shit could be psyops. But most people, even with a gun, wouldn't unless you really a combat person, you wouldn't respond. That's why you see a lot of these goofs carrying 3 guns and they showing, but really look at their soul. They ain't killers. They ain't killers. And you can look at a motherfucker that's killers. Because you carry a gun don't mean you're a killer. Most pistols are self-defense anyway. You got to get into the 50 cals that shoot a mile away when you're talking about offensive weapons. And that shit ain't shooting, damn near a mile away. You talking about just defensive weapons. You ain't reaching out fucking with people. Even an AR is only 400 yards. You cross a couple football fields, keeping motherfuckers just that. So that's what we're trained. Though. We're trained to just buy defensive weapons. We ain't trained to get offensive weapons. And guns is expensive. Let's be honest. You getting a 50 caliber shit. That shit might cost you $2-3 grand. Shit, the fucking saws. A saw. I think the cheapest one is about $1,500 to $1,800. So you're not talking about a cheap gun.
Do you have a tank like to make? Do we have a favorite team, favorite fire? So do you think our minds in a tank like the Matrix? How's the simulation ran?
I don't really quite think we're at the point of the Matrix. I think it's more sophisticated. It's a little more sophisticated. And that it's not a quick answer I could really give. I couldn't really give you the quick answer.
I'll come to me. What is the simulation of the simulations out of the simulation? Yeah, that's kind of how it is. When you talk, well, thank you, Gaming. You make my day. Well, thank you. My holographic universe. I got Michael Talbert's book as well. I got that book as well.
And so it is, and this thing, when I say that it is several kind of holograms going on, it really is. It's not just one, because that's how this thing works. It's not just one hologram. It's multiple holograms on top of holograms, because that's how this thing works. This thing does not waste any space. Again, it's several of me sitting here talking about different shit. That's just how this thing works. You can, again, that thing of me catching the shit, I catch the shit all the time. I'm walking down the stairs one day and I see my damn self already making coffee. The cat is right next to me and the motherfucking, I'm making coffee. So I catch this thing. But what kind of system is it is a great question, because it's like it's not always the same thing. It seems to adapt and to adjust. Because think of the simulation like when I was raised in the 60s. It was a simpler civilization or simple simulation than it is now, compared to the one that you saw in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. And so it has expanded. And again, it puts its mind with all of us. The mind is with all of us now. We can't live without this. This is our God, the tech God. So it's not an easy saying which kind of simulation. It's not really easy to say. But you can catch it. You can catch it. You can even sense it. That's why I give the example of the drive-in. If you turn or don't turn, that is one thing that you can see it operating. Now I don't even have to see myself like drive away. I already know that one of me, because I had the thought I could have made it. So I already know one of me, I feel the energy. I feel the energy leave me. So it's not an easy question. A good question, but not easy. Not easy. I just wake up taking off my helmet. No, and this is the most important thing. Wake up being in your sacred ball field or your continuous ball field, because that's what you're given in the Americas. If you're born in what they call the Americas, and you've played any of the games, I don't care if you played hopscotch on a basketball court, I don't care what you played, but if you ever participate in any game, then you have a right to the continuous ball field of the Hero Twins. You have every right to go there. Even myself, the likelihood of me getting dementia is very great with my father and my grandmother both having it. So that is where I put myself. And so that is the one place that you can get to see the true breakthrough. Again, there's something there because you break through and there's another blue, pretty universe there when you go through. So what is that? What is that? How is that possible? How I'm in the dark, and some shit just opens up and it's like a blue universe. How's that? How can you have visions and be where the vision is? I mean, when you have visions, you literally go to wherever the vision is or wherever you're replaying. How is that possible? You know, what's her name? The chick used to be on the Cosby Show, Raven. Remember, some of you probably watched that when she would have visions. Remember when she would have a vision, she would go and be in the vision. They're trying to tell you that happens to you. When you really have visions, not deja vus, but a clear vision, you really go there. For every microseconds, it seems like you have physically went there and lived that vision out. Where deja vu is just like a replay. You've had this play before. What's changed? And that shows you the simulation as well. That might be my answer. Is deja vus is you see, you know, it's something, it was some kind of mistake that is making you replay it again. That's what a lot of deja vus are. It's a replay of a mistake. That's why the Matrix said, was it one or two cats? It was a mistake. And so it makes you see it again. Because when you go in, you're like, this is too familiar. How's this possible? And you start seeing the same shit. So that's some ways you can check it out. Smoking. Yeah, me too. What do you think about lever actions? Shit, Henry Rifle, this motherfucker. and again, you can get a 308 in the lever action. You can get some pretty big rounds. Matter of fact, they're not cheap anymore. Look up a Henry Rifle. They ain't cheap anymore. I would say the lack of capacity would be my only lack of capacity. But far as it's a rifle, remember that. So you're gonna get the accuracy and the range of a rifle. So your 400 yards might go out to 8 depending on the round. So it's just a lack of capacity. That's it. You know, that's the only thing I would say. But far as accuracy, you might be able to shoot 1,000 feet in some kind of lever actions. Again, you're gonna have a wide variety of rounds that you could buy. So yeah, and they're getting more expensive too. Most people don't have muscle memory to shoot accurately. Yeah, it takes practice. I know last year I only went twice to the range, and we have an outdoor range that was open. But it's like when this shit hit, all the ammo is so expensive now. Ammo is like double prices. Like you go to buy 9mm ammo that would cost you $20. That same ammo is damn near costing you $40. So ammo is kind of like, why waste this shooting? Because you just don't know. You know, the white box ammo again for 9mm is still relatively cheap. And I'm telling everybody, and right now in this day and age where you need a round that's cheap and gonna move fast, buy the white boxes. Now 40s, maybe not, but 9s, yeah, definitely so. 9s, get the white. Don't worry about it because they're gonna travel fast out that gun. And maybe Brother Nick Taylor disagreed, but I've had experience, and that shit will shoot through anything. But this is why they tell you don't use the practice ammo, because what they say is, it's going to over penetrate. The 115 grade will over penetrate. That's what you want. And let me say this, and maybe I said this last night. I found some level 4 plates. It's only $100 and some bucks. Don't you know that the military did a big order of plates that will, no. What kind of ammo? I can't forget, I can't remember the name of the ammo, but it's like the military did a big push on buying ammo that can defeat level 3 vests and plates, because most people get level 3. Because, bulletproof vest ain't cheap. But I just found level 4 plates and level 4 ammo for pretty cheap. Level 4 vest. So even at 10 yards, shooting's not easy. No, it's not. And dudes have drums on a pistol because they can't shoot. Yeah, it's better on a pistol. You put a drum and you try to shoot 100 rounds off a rifle. Yeah, and you're not sitting that rifle down. That shit will blow up on your ass. So wait, what's the continuous ball game exactly? It's different for each person. No, Rocky, it really wouldn't be. I mean, once you understand what America is and the energy from playing on any sport, if you've ever played any sport on a field, that's the continuous ball game of the Hero Twins. The energy never leaves. And so spiritually, because you have played that game and set on those fields, you're already there. And if you're any kind of baller or played football, you're definitely there. But even baseball, if you've grown up, even in a playground, or even if you just played 2 square, it all goes back to the Hero Twins. All ball games go back to the Hero Twins. Oh, the Omen. So Wade, what makes raw beef have a spasm? I don't know. Muscle memory. No, what he's talking about. Okay, like when you shoot a shot, or if I just pass you the ball, the more you practice, the more you get muscle memory to catch the ball. Like my son, City, just popped his big head in early. He just doesn't have the coordination to catch. It's just nothing he would have ever done his whole life to make him be able. He just didn't have the hand-eye coordination. But that's the same thing as muscle memory. Like shooting a free throw, you want to do the same muscle memory. So shooting goes in the same way. You want to pull the trigger the same way. You want to breathe the same way. Whichever eye you open or close to look through the scope, you want it all to be exactful. And even in the same thing as shooting a handgun, you want to pull it out the same way, because like I always talk about back in 91, 92, when I used to have a double break holster, I had to practice with this double break holster, because it was a thing back then where dudes was grabbing your holsters. And so this holster, like a dude couldn't grab it out because you had to break it, even for me. And so I had to practice daily. When I'm off duty, I'm practicing this double break holster, shooting, practicing. So when it comes on a stressful situation, you're doing the same thing. You're doing the exact same thing. Because most people, again, you start getting tunnel vision. Most people just see the threat. And if you don't practice that kind of thing, when you're under a pressure situation, you won't respond. You'll fail. And so that's what muscle memory helps. Again, shooting a free throw, you want to do it the same way. That's muscle memory. Getting my hands up to catch a football, from doing it from the time I was 7 years old. It's the same thing. So that's what muscle memory is. Even jumping. Just jumping, touching the rim. You've done it enough. Jumping, touching the rim. That's what muscle memory is. Robin Williams movie, What Dreams May Come True. Deja Vu and the Black Cat for me. Aren't vests not legal? They're legal. Felons can't have them, but everybody else can. I understand. Oh, no, I understand, but I am talking about raw meat having a spasm. Oh, yeah, I don't know how that happens either. That goddamn steak I cooked earlier wasn't having no spasm. That shit I started off in the oven like 350, and then I threw the broiler on its ass, and that shit got to all them juices and shit. And I'm not a big steak person, you know, not really. I don't really care for steak. That was the thing I hated most about playing football is fucking have to eat a steak. If we had a 1 o'clock game, I'm eating steak at 8 o'clock in the morning. I just didn't do it for me. You know, I wasn't much different then. What I wanted was McDonald's pancakes and hockey puck sausage. That's what my pregame meal was. See, I would go to McDonald's, but no, they want to give me, I'm up in New York and they're giving me a damn steak. I'm like, well, you know, McDonald's is way cheaper because back then I think you could get McDonald's pancakes and hockey puck sausage very cheap back in the 80s. I think it was like $1 to get the whole thing. They probably gave you a big bag of it back then. No, they wanted to give me steak and damn potatoes at 8 o'clock in the morning. Just didn't do it for me, guys. I don't know what the raw meat shit is, Jeffrey. That's funny. Steak is shit when it's cooked in bulk. Yeah, it is. Muscle memory is also getting lost memory back in your body if you have lost it through the years. It's like I was joking yesterday. I ran. I guess my son broke my story. You know, since my surgery in 15, I really ain't really tried to run. I walk, but I really don't run. I just don't have confidence. I mean, if you saw my calf, you saw my right calf compared to my left calf, you understand. It's just they took so much out of my left calf moving that tumor. I mean, it's just, it don't even look like the same leg. And so my running, but yesterday, my daughter wanted to drop something off at her mother's. And so where I picked her up from, she was right across the street. Oh, she stayed later at her godmother's house. They was watching some bullshit movie or something. So I picked her up a little later. So I took her home so she could drop her shit off, you know, her backpack and shit. And I backed out, and yesterday was trash day at her mother's, and her mother wasn't gonna be home for another few hours. So I when I backed up, I pulled and I stopped and pulled to the side of the road because it's kind of still a two-way street. And my daughter's like, well, what are you gonna do? I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna help your mother out because, you know, she gets home late. She ain't gonna push these damn trash cans after working 16 hours in a day. She ain't gonna want to push these trash cans back. So I just did it for her. You know, I grabbed them both and you know, backpedaled and put them back. And then I ran to my goddamn car, which I hadn't done in years. And so I walked today. When my friend and I walked Monday, we walked last Monday. We did 2.5 miles. So today I walked, but I freaking ran. And so I had thought about playing basketball before all this hit because the gyms were open on Wednesday nights. So I was kind of wanting to play basketball, but at 60, don't know. But running to me felt good. So don't know how much more I would run again, but it felt good. It did. McDonald's pancakes and hockey puck sausage. Mickey D's going to owe you a check soon. I'm just being for real of what I like, y'all. I mean, put all that shit together and you have just a giant jumbo sandwich. Nobody does it like McDonald's. I don't care what you say. Who was that? Ray was on here earlier talking about Denny's and some caramel stuff. Yeah, I don't want that. I only like McDonald's. Well, guys, I'm gonna have to cut it short. I do have to get up a little early tomorrow. Got a young girl that's gonna be looking at me, talking about she's hungry. And so, thank you guys again. I thank you every night. Whoever listens, whenever you listen, thank you for helping me make this new channel successful. Because at the old channel, my shows like this didn't do very well. But because of all your encouragement and all your attention, my shows are running my channel more than my sports shows. So I appreciate that. And I thank you guys. And people who watch this in the future, thank you very much. Again, those that want that information, again, you can either find me on Facebook or email me, and I'll try to send you the link. Even though he didn't really do a link to it, but I'll try to figure out, I have my son figure out how to send it to you if you want to see this and show it to other people. Because again, you know, we're outnumbered. There's people that's gladly taking this stuff. I mean, this is how it is. It's like we put all this information out about what Thanksgiving is. It's just celebration of a slaughter. Thanksgiving come, all these people talking about why they thankful. Well, you're thankful for the slaughter. 4th of July come and you blowing shit up, you blowing yourself up. That's really what they celebrate, your defeat with bombs and guns and bullets and bombs. And so now common sense is not common anymore. They have everyone fooled into thinking that this crisis can be averted. And you can go back to bullshitting with your friends just by taking this poke. We'll make weed legal in your town. Just go to the clinic and roll your arm or pant leg down. We will give you a poke, a couple maybe. We don't really know. It might make you go crazy. It might make you turn into a zombie or pop into a donkey or a dog or a fly. We just don't know. Now the country is run by Slow Joe and Sister Girl. We don't know which way the things is going to go. Are we on the Titanic about to sink? I'm not, because I'm smoking weed and I'm having a drink. No matter what they do, they're not going to weigh me down. Because I look at all them like they are the clowns. So I'm going to end with Eshan's poem. I'm not a New York rapper or LA gangbanger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slinger. And I'm going to make the proclamation again. Give us the Bible. We're going to get the Bible one way or another. You guys better give it to us. You want to mess with us on censorship and all that? Okay. Then spiritually, we are putting pressure on you. We know it's in Brazil, and you're going to give it back to us so we can show the real history and the real spirituality. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Thank you all. Till we meet again.